it is critical that we spend the necessary resources so that we can put this country back to work. And that's what this is all about.
And you heard the introduction song. From now on, we will be bringing you this introduction song. Let me let you listen to just a little more of this song.
This is the right guy. Who is the man who give you representation? This is the right guy. Man, the right guy. Who is the man when you vote you can go wrong? I say the right guy. This is the right guy. No matter what they say, we going all the way. You are the right guy. You have the right guy, the right guy. All over his constituency, his performance is there for you to see. Castries South East, you well see, man. There is so much development. This guy is working hard for you. Labor pakavi we no kame tega yatwe. Tupa tu upa si flambo ka flambo te. Who is the man? We voted in 21. I said the right guy. This is the right guy. Who is the man who give you representation? This is the right guy. The right guy. Who is the man when you vote you can go wrong? I say the right guy. This is the right guy. No matter what they say, we going all the way. You have the right guy. You have the right guy. The right guy.
All right, Senator, definitely we have the right guy in Castries Southeast as we're about to get you on the way with the program inside Castries Southeast. We have the minister sitting right next to me, is 6 feet apart on the other side of the desk. Mr. Minister, how are you? Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Champagne, and good evening to listeners. That's the new right guy mask, as you can see.
Yes, the right guy, that's right.
The right guy.
That's right.
And then the picture
on the back,
on this side.
That's right.
There's a lot of requests for this. I want to say a special good night to all the constituents of Castries Southeast. And you know, if it's a Monday night, we are inside Castries Southeast. Now, Champagne, let me let you make a wild guess as to program number what?
Boy, last time we counted, let's see, 32?
No, program number 30.
30? Oh boy, I jumped up.
30.
I went up by 2. That is a...
So
30 weeks.
we have been running this program for 30 Mondays
That's right.
consecutively
My goodness. We need to ring the bell
without
on
a
that.
break.
We need to ring the bell on that. That is
And I
commitment.
really thank God for that, Champagne, that for these 30 Mondays, I have been able to be here every single one.
Every single one of them.
the
That's
Mondays.
right. That's right. And you know, we went right for the Christmas season.
Yes,
and New
right
Year's.
through
We
Christmas,
didn't take a break.
New Year's,
Yeah.
Easter. We've been here. So I extend special greetings to all our regular listeners, both here and abroad. We have a packed program tonight, so I will not take a lot of time to extend the greetings to particular individuals, but there's one lady that I want to mention tonight, and I had the opportunity of visiting her yesterday evening, about 7. I visited her. The reason why I will mention her and that she is special, she sent a message that she was blind in one eye and the other eye was going dim. And she really wanted to see me in person before she goes totally blind. And as soon as I got the message, I honored the request by visiting Ma Freeness in Cul-de-Sac.
What is the name?
Freeness, Ma Freeness.
Okay.
So I must say a special good night to her and to her granddaughter who was there to receive me when I came in. And we had a nice little conversation last night. And then she said to me, she always listens on a Tuesday when we are in Parliament. And I told her, but upakakute lili dioswe nuni inside Castries Southeast. So idi mwen kay ese kute oswe, so mwen hope that ika kute. So special good night, and also the second person I will say good night to is Miss Cecile at CDC. I know I owe her a visit. I want to let her know that I will be visiting her sometime during this week because we have some unfinished business to take care of. Champagne, last week on the program, I made some pronouncements. And among the pronouncements that was made is that the leader of the opposition, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, was given an entire week from Monday last week to Monday this week to release the so-called information that he claims to have in his possession. Now, you would not think that a man who aspires to be the leader of a country would lie about a simple matter like this. And I still don't want to call him a liar yet. I might do that before the program is over. But he has an opportunity to call the program, and we will give him airtime to play what he has in his possession, or what he claims to have in his possession. Because I know the Labour Party fabricates stories all the time. But I do not expect the leader of a party who aspires to be the Prime Minister of a country would lie about a non-issue like this. Now, I know what I say and I know what I did not say. So I am not surprised, like the report, the Robert Lindquist report, I was never worried about what was going to be found out in this report, because I know that there was nothing to find out in the report. You see, you can fool some people sometimes, but when you see a party or a group of men get to a point where they lie to themselves and they fool themselves, we are in trouble. And that's why I've said these fellas are not fit to even be in opposition. But before I go to the meat of the program, I want to read a paragraph or two from the book 5 Blind Spots. Yeah. And I always tell them, what I have there, I don't make up stories. Before I continue, I want to show the public. This is just one of the bags with documents.
Yes,
that is just one of them.
Yeah, that is one.
And I have 3 of them for Parliament plus a box.
Yes.
Where am I going with this, Champagne? I don't have time to tell lies about people. I don't have time to make up stories about people. You see this Labour Party? There is so much truth to say about these men that between now and the time I will retire from politics, if it takes me 15 years, I will never have to tell a lie about the Labour Party, because there's so much truth to say about them, there will not be time enough to tell a lie about them. That's my style of politics. Now, I said, from the book 5 Blind Spots, blocking God's work in you, under chapter 4, justifiable resentment blinded by bitterness. That's the title. And it reads, no one in his right mind would walk around carrying radioactive plutonium in his pocket. The stuff will make you sick, mature your genes, or mutate your genes, and cause you to die a slow, painful death. The good thing about plutonium is that it exists in solid form and is always packaged in protective material and labeled with warnings. Unfortunately, that is not the case with what I believe is the most dangerous thing people carry around inside their souls. The possession is justifiable resentment. So people who carry about resentment and they feel that they are justified to carry out that resentment is more dangerous than plutonium itself. It can eat you alive just as surely as plutonium can. Are you angry about something in your life? Has someone hurt you, or you feel that you have every right to remain angry and bitter towards that person? Have you done something so awful that you cannot forgive yourself? In other words, is there something in the past, either that you did or was done to you, that has left you feeling bitter, bitterness, anger, or resentment, that you are convinced it is perfectly justifiable? Perhaps you have buried the event so deeply or covered it so effectively that you no longer think about it. But when you stop to consider your life, you realize that you have continued to harbor this hard place in your heart. And you believe that anyone who went through such an experience would feel the same way. If you are carrying around anything like this, it is as dangerous as any radioactive material. If you can do more, it can do more than destroy you. It can eat away at you. It can eat away at who you are in the deepest levels of your being. I will end my quote from the book. Champagne, this is not leveled at anybody. This is to lay the platform for my discussion on my program tonight. And I intend to be very blunt and very direct. I have endured a lot of things in the politics of St. Lucia, but that goes like water on a duck's back. Or, you know dashing. Everybody knows dashing.
L'eau a fait dashing.
Ou jamais vidé de l'eau en les fait dashing et que de l'eau a été? No, it doesn't stick.
No.
I am not here to look for sympathy or pity from anybody. I am here to deal with the facts, the realities of what we are faced with in this country. This Labour Party. Now, I will begin by saying they have been branding around FFF. Friends, family, and foreigners. I will deal, so if I forget Champagne, remind me to deal with the issue of family, because there have some fake people going around Castries Southeast saying they are my half-brothers.
Really?
I will come to that. I will show you the nastiness. And when the Labour Party said that this politics is going to be very nasty, we did not even think that it was going to be so nasty. To have people posing as people's family in the constituency. I mean, I've never heard more madness. I know my father's children. I know my mother's children. I know there's 10 of us. But all of a sudden, people are surfacing and going around the constituency and talking about they are my brother. Wow. And you know, some politicians even buy vehicles for them with big stars on it because they figure out that's my brother. Now, I will come to that. I will come to that as we go along.
Yes.
And they want to talk about wickedness, and they want to talk about... So I was talking about the FFF.
Yes.
So I went to the dictionary to find the words that would describe lies. And I told them, this is my 15th year in politics. They've not been able to take me to court. They've not been able to file a lawsuit. And they've not been able to prove that what I say cannot be substantiated with evidence. And if I ever make a mistake, because I'm not perfect, if I make a mistake and I say something that is incorrect, I'm man enough to come back and apologize for it. Nobody don't have to take me to court for me to apologize if I say something that is incorrect at the end of the day. But I will not deliberately come and give incorrect information about any opponent, anybody in the Labour Party. These fellas, you can write books and books upon them, and all will be true.
Oh, yeah.
So, I went to the dictionary to find the meaning of words that represent lies. And I just chose a few of them that begins with F. So they usually give 3 Fs, so I will give you 6 Fs to describe the Labour Party tonight. The first one is fake.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's them.
They are fake to the core.
Yeah, that's top of the line.
When a man can lie about his own self.
That's top of the line.
When people do things and they come back, you have it on record, and they tell you that's not what I did. You have to ask yourself, are these people real? So, we have fake, false, fiction, forgery, fabrication, and fables. All Fs to describe one party, the St. Lucia Labour Party, being led by a man who claims he has a record of what I said. And I know that's a lie. And if tomorrow he can come and prove that he has something and I have to apologize to him, I will.
Right.
But I know that I don't have to apologize because that's not true. They don't have nothing on Guy Joseph.
They know it. They know they have nothing. And the first F, that is them. Fake, that is this guy.
So, Philip J. Pierre, if you think that coming and tell stories on Andre Paul's program about Guy Joseph, that you will get away with it, that doesn't happen. I have tried to remain as silent on this matter, not because I'm guilty of anything. Can you imagine for a moment, Champagne? And I want all of St. Lucia and everybody who's listening. If Guy Joseph had done what was done there would be demonstrations.
Oh, yeah.
There would be protests outside Parliament.
Yes.
There would be protests outside the ministry.
Yes.
So I want to know whether there are one set of rules. And I agree with Aaron Alexander and his statement. He said he doesn't support any political party as far as he's concerned. Both of them are failures. That's his opinion.
Yeah.
But the part of his statement that I agree with is that the law is there for everybody.
That's right. We've said it here.
No matter who it is for.
We continue to say
Who does it? So, I want to deal with this thing in sequence. The Labour Party will do something and they will make you believe it's you that do it. And if you're not mindful, they will convince you it's not them that did it, it's you that did it.
That's them.
Now, that is the height of deception. That is deception beyond. I'm not even sure the devil is as good as the Labour Party is in deceiving people. Or that's their brother. And like I said, I will be blunt tonight. I ain't holding back nothing.
Right.
They want to go to Haiti and they want to send message to me about going to Haiti. All of them can go to Haiti. And the people who try to introduce me to Haiti, and I told them I wasn't interested, are the people who are now working for them in the constituency. And they want, and the people of Castries Southeast knows it. So, I am putting them on notice tonight. You see the game Labour Party is playing? I'm calling you all out. Philip J. Pierre, I'm calling you as leader of the Labour Party. You said that what I said is so bad that you cannot play it. How did you, Philip? Uniabai that guy fait qui tellement mauvais ou passage as radio et sur TV et bon passa même circulately as sur social media and you have people cursing literally on the media. So content guy go hordia. All of a sudden you have a love affair with guy that you going to protect him. I mean, I cannot even begin to believe. And if Philip J. Pierre think that he is going to cop out of this one, you see, if you're going to lie about nothing, you know what a man said to me? He said, and maybe never not even refer to the man, I'll refer to the Bible, because the Bible is the explicit word of God. If you cannot be faithful over little things, how can you be faithful? Or I will not make you ruler over many things. And Philip J. Pierre, if you went and lied to try and bail out your friend, well, both of you will end up in the same bracket. Because you cannot do wrong and try to make it look like it's somebody else that did the wrong. Now, I was not saying anything about this thing, Champagne. I was taking it cool and easy. People wanted to think Maybe guy said something, peut-être il dit un bail, eh bien il fait un bail, so c'est pour ça il pas dit rien.
Oui.
So because I'm there cool and quiet, not saying anything, so that give you all license to go and say what you all said. Now, I want to tell Philip J. Pierre, I have it on record from persons within the ranks of the Labour Party, and I'm talking about candidates, where it has been said that that is not the only time that will happen to me in church.
Really?
So I know there's a plan, Champagne. And I'm putting the police on notice also. Because there's much more than meets the eye now with what the Labour Party is doing. And I've said it before. I've said in this country, I've said it in the parliament, and I've said it on the platform. If the Labour Party has to kill to be in office, they will. Now, they think I'm scared of them. I ain't scared of them. I ain't scared of anybody in the Labour Party. But they have to understand, Philip J. Pierre has to understand, that you cannot be leading an organization that would do wrong, that persons within your ranks will do wrong, and I will be posting, I will be highlighting on the screen the messages that they posted in the black and white photos that they quickly went and pulled down from their Facebook pages. Because it is time that the people of St. Lucia understand the wickedness and the evil that is within the ranks of the St. Lucia Labour Party. And that's why I use the word, they are fake, they are false, it's fiction, they advancing, forgery, fabrication, and fables. 6 F's. I will choose friends, family, and foreigners any day before I choose these qualities that the Labour Party is advancing. Now, I was saying, you cannot do wrong. How can you commit your crime and you want to blame somebody else for the crime you committed? You want to make it look like somebody else is wrong for what you did? That is why the Labour Party has mismanaged this country. They have caused the country's economy to decline. But when they come to parliament, they want to make you believe it's Flambeau that have done something wrong. So let's take the jobs. They said they created 8,000 jobs, but unemployment went up under them. UWP brought unemployment from almost 25% to about 17%, 16.8. Yet still they make you believe that they were the best in creating jobs. And I want the people of St. Lucia to understand the narrative of the Labour Party. So they do wrong and they make you believe it's somebody else that did the wrong. So you heard them talking about, oh, they sold 1,000 acres of land. I've read the letters there. Is they that was going to sell 4,000 acres of land to the Robert Ensworth fella? The land that DSH is on is about 168 acres or thereabout. That is the least portion of it. Whatever else they use, which is under 300 acres. But every day you hear them, is 1,000 acres. When they know they were the ones in the process of about to sell 4,000 acres or promise to sell 4,000 acres. So I am putting things in perspective. Now, I believe that I need to take a moment. I've not done this publicly as much as I should. and applaud the members of the Forestier Seventh-day Adventist Church. We are not perfect people. For that matter, the Bible says no one is perfect. Only God is perfect. And they like to tell me about, I like to quote scripture, that's what I know. The Bible says, for all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. So when I speak here, I'm not speaking on the basis that I'm better than other people. What I'm saying to them is, there are some things we choose to do, and there are some things we choose not to do. And telling lies about people is something I choose not to do. Now, I want to applaud the members of my church, the local church where I worship, for their conduct, their behavior. They exemplified what Christian behavior is like, even in the midst of pressure and difficulties and a stressful situation. You only know what you are made of when you are put for a pressure situation. And the list of the members of the church conducted from the smallest to the most adult person conducted themselves in a Christian-like manner, and I have to applaud the members of the church where I worship. I felt good and I felt proud that everybody conducted themselves the way a Christian should behave in a church setting. And Champagne, enough can never be said about this. Tomorrow they may falter, tomorrow I may falter, and we may do something wrong. But on that occasion, the conduct of the church was exemplary. And everybody seemed to forget, because when people get in the heated debate and discussion, they forget that these were people who woke up on the morning, maybe had their breakfast, said their prayers, some of them did not have breakfast, and came into an atmosphere where they know that they could worship in peace. And when all of a sudden, you know, when some of the members were interviewed, what they said? They said they thought was COVID wardens that had come in, or the police that had come in to just check on everybody to see whether people were following the protocols, because they've been one of the things that is advanced is in following the protocols. At any time the authorities can come in and check whether the church is abiding by the conditions of the protocol. That is what some of the members indicated, that when the manner in which it was done, that they thought that it was just an invasion into the church by the authorities. Now, people tend to overlook the stress and the pressure, the anxiety, and everything that people suffered during that. And people generally don't understand what trauma can do to somebody in a difficult situation. I don't pretend. We have a psychologist in the church who was there, and she had to be debriefed herself by somebody else because of the situation that existed. So I want the clip played where Philip J. Pierre is in Parliament and what he said in the Parliament about church incidents. I want the people of St. Lucia to pay careful attention to understand the man who wants to be leader of this country, what he had to say on the incident.
Mr. Speaker, you know they even spin events that happen in churches, Mr. Speaker. But that's for another show.
I want a replay of this. I want a replay of it.
Mr. Speaker, you know they even spin things. They even spin events that happen in churches, Mr. Speaker. But that's for another show.
Now, if anybody was spinning, now you heard what he said, not his words. They even spin things that, which means that he didn't say we. He said they, which means that he is referring to somebody else. Who was spinning? Pierre, you might not be a cricketer. I don't think you ever played. I don't know. I don't want to judge you on whether you are a cricketer. But at least, if you're going to say something about an incident that happened, anybody in the church spun anything? All the spinning of the event in the church happened by the Labour Party. Nobody from the UWP. Because Champagne, you know that. Even UWPs were upset that everybody is defending the Labour Party and nobody is saying nothing on behalf of Guy Joseph.
That's true.
Now you know Guy Joseph can speak for himself. Guy Joseph pas besoin moun parler ba. So Pierre, your week is up and you have failed. And I know why you have failed. Because you have nothing. You know you don't have no recording. And even if you all go and try and fabricate something, an expert will be able to know that this is not Guy Joseph. Because c'est nom la hot diki passa par l'anglais. And I am the one you all criticize all the time for my accent. But I never knew that it would become so valuable today. Because go and try and imitate me. Go and try and get a voice expert to mimic my voice and go and make a false state and go and play it. I will know. I will know because I speak in a unique way.
Now, Mr. Minister, you notice I am allowing you to, because you said you're going to unleash the beast tonight, but I would like to ask just one or two questions. Where are we today? I've gotten so many calls here on my program where people are saying, and you cannot to answer the question if you choose to, where people are saying that not a single member of your church or the congregation made a report to the police. Is that a fact?
No. The police was called immediately after the incident. The police was called. The police came. The persons who created the infraction in the church had left.
Okay.
And as we speak tonight, Champagne, I have already submitted my report to the police. So the police has no reason, as I speak tonight, not to take the appropriate action that needs to be taken.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I have given a statement to the officer who was assigned on the day. I know other persons from the church have submitted their statements. Now, Champagne, I was willing to sit by and watch what was happening. But these Labour Party fellas cannot be serious. That y'all did y'all things. Y'all infringe on people's rights. Y'all disrupt a church service. And you want to be wrong and strong.
Wrong and strong.
You want to come and make it look like it's Guy Joseph. So, so I'm going to sit by and allow you to come and spread all of these lies about an incident that there were over 40 witnesses. I mean, how can the Labour Party think that they can get away with this? And Champagne, I have the printed reports, you know. I have the printed reports from what was on St. Lucia News Online. I have the printed reports on social media. I tell them already, I don't go about making up stories about people. You see me, the day I have to do that in politics, God will punish me. I will not be in politics.
Now, you also said earlier there are future attempts in that same vein. Have you brought that to the attention of the police? Because it sounds like a threat.
I tell you, I have it on record. And a lot of other persons who knows much more about the incident that happened in the church have alerted me. In fact, I have been told that my life was in much more danger than the manner in which I am handling this matter.
On that same day?
Yes.
You care to share with us, or you choose to?
I will come to this.
Okay.
I will come to this, Champagne.
Okay.
I'm not dealing with an individual. I'm dealing with the Labour Party.
Yes, agree.
Because it is the Labour Party who have perpetuated what is happening in St. Lucia today. They are the cause. If you all say I said something that triggered that, release it.
That's right.
Because if I read one quote from the statement here by St. Lucia News Online, I think. I'm not sure. Is it St. Lucia News Online? One of the I want to get the correct name to give you, Champagne. Next thing they come and say, I give in false information.
Please get the right news for us or whatever.
Not St. Lucia News Online, St. Lucia Times. I knew it was not St. That's why I'm very careful about my information.
Must be.
The reporter says he told St. Lucia Times. So he told St. Lucia Times, and there are a number of things he told St. Lucia Times. Here's what it said. I went, I looked at the door, I said, I'm looking for Guy. That is what the individual in question is saying that he did. With over 40 people, or about 40 people being present in the church. So the 40 people don't know that is not what happened? Huh? I went, I looked at the door, I said, I'm looking for Guy.
He looked at the door.
I went, I looked at the door, I said, I'm looking for Guy.
So he was talking to the door basically. That's what I have to say. I looked at the door, I said,
and then the person said, the church service stopped. Since the service stopped, I asked him, why? Why should he be doing this? So, but here are the accusations. And the accusations are on record. The things they said that Guy Joseph said was never repeated in the church. Okay.
There's the video right there.
Huh?
If you could freeze it when the shoving happened, just like we did on Thursday evening, it would be nice for all of the world to see. If you could freeze it when the shoving was. If you now look at that stand. Okay, so that now has been frozen. So look at the stand, look at the right hand. If you look at that right hand, you could tell what's coming. And the mind was changed instantly. I want Senator to look at that stand. That stand is a stand of a lounge of a feast, if you will. Look at it, Senator. All of you look at it. It is frozen. And look at that stand. I want everyone to look at that.
So, like I said, Champagne, I'm not dealing with any individual on this matter. I'm dealing with what the St. Lucia Labour Party is doing and what they are perpetuating in this country. The Labour Party and the incident in the church is just one incident. The Labour Party in Parliament have tackled me on many occasions.
Oh yeah, we know that.
The Labour Party in several ways have tried to undermine me. They have used state resources to go after me. They have carried out investigations. They have reported me in the US to try and file cases and things against me. I mean, what is wrong with this Labour Party?
So let me ask you something, Mr. Minister, and this is serious. So is this a political thing because the law seems not to get involved with what is happening? Is this a political thing between two political parties where one individual is constantly attacked verbally, or maybe now we've seen it physically, and the law prefers to stay away from it? Is that a political thing?
So, I don't want...
You're a citizen of the country, you know, Mr. Minister, and you have the right to be protected.
You see, here's my difficulty. I can understand individuals can do and say things that can be out of line and may not be the best behavior at the time. But when no organization rises above its leaders, the leader of an organization is the benchmark of that organization. And if Philip J. Pierre is the leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party, and what is happening there is what they are doing, then I have a big problem with this matter. Because at the end of the day, you look at what has happened. So the SLP, everything they do, they try to find somebody to blame. Now, in this scenario, Champagne, and I'm not here by accident tonight. I'm here by the will of God. I know that I am here because God wanted me to be here. Things could have been very different. And I tell people, it's those who experience it who knows what is involved. You know what it is like when you hear that's not the only time that that's going to happen to you in church. So when you go to church, and I challenge the Labour Party, I challenge them to say this is not true. This was never said.
So
I challenge
was
them.
that said after the incident?
That was said after the incident.
This is serious stuff, Mr. Minister.
So, it means that when I go to church, and when I continue to go to church, the attempt is, or I must always now look over my shoulder when I'm in church, because they have already indicated that this is not the only time that it's going to happen. Now, I want the people of St. Lucia to understand what is in play there.
From what I'm getting, this is collective. It doesn't sound like it's one individual when you say this is not the first time it's going to happen. It sounds like a collective statement or a collective
well,
release.
I don't know when the Labour Party have their meetings, what they plan, what they organize. I don't know what discussions they have. So you never know. You never know what is really happening. And that's why I tell you, Champagne, on the day in question, I know what I experienced. I know what I felt. And I know it is only God that protected me. Yes, the members of the church got involved. Yes, the members did what was required. And some people don't believe in miracles. At first, it was hard even for me to believe. I asked my wife several times, "You think he really did not see me?" And in my mind, I know what God is capable of doing. But at the same time, sometimes I think I'm not good enough for God to do so much good towards me. You know, because people think that I think I'm good. I'm like
everybody else.
I'm like everybody else. Yeah. But when you see God come through for you in a way like this, you cannot help but reflect on where you are, what you've done, how you've done it. When I go around the constituency, and my strong supporters tell me, there's somebody in the constituency. And in fact, I can tell you, one of my constituents had a dream, and they came and they told me, somebody is going to betray you. And these are the things that will happen. A young lady, she had the dream and she told me about the dream.
Was that before the incident or after?
That was before the incident. That was before the incident. And then I told her, but the person that's going to betray me has already betrayed me. And whatever. And I choose not to focus too much on these things. I want to pause a moment and thank all the people who pray for me. All the pastors who have called me since the incident have prayed for me. Those who always prayed for me prior to that incident. But I want people to understand. When people think they alone are human beings and that other people are not human beings, I know I'm tough. I can cope with a lot of things. I can deal with pressure. I can manage this. But I will never sit by and allow the Labour Party to get away with all the lies that they are peddling about this incident. You see, if the Labour Party had left this thing alone, I would have left it alone too. But you cannot be doing what you're doing there. And you want to paint all kinds of pictures of Guy Joseph. You want to make it look like. Now, I want...
You think it's because it's Guy Joseph that these guys really think that they could come on to just do these things? You think if it was somebody else, maybe they think that's a little tougher, that they would just not bother with an individual? Let's just throw a name out there. Maybe an Ezekiel Joseph. Maybe he's a bigger guy than yourself, maybe a little more muscular. But because it is... No, I'm just asking the question, because why is it Guy Joseph? I know you're out there.
The Labour Party always... You see Kenny Anthony, you see how many times he picked on Dominic Fede.
Yes, for smaller people.
Yes. So, because... You see, a lot of the Labour Party fellas believe that they can bully people around and they can beat you into submission. Now, they've beaten people like Richard Frederick Mondesi and them into submission. So today they're singing their song. But they've not been able, and I've told Kenny Anthony that. I tell him, no matter how many times you all attack me, no matter what you all say about me, that will not faze me. Because that's not the metal I'm made of. I'm made of a much stronger metal than that. I don't hold grudges. I don't hate anybody. When I live here, I have no hatred in my heart towards any of these persons. None of my political opponents, none of the persons in the Labour Party, I hold no grudges, I have no hatred. Because I've told you, hatred is like drinking poison and expecting somebody else to die. So I don't have a hatred. I may have disagreements, I may tell you this, I may have a different point of view, but I don't go home with that on my heart.
Yeah, but Mr. Minister, the individual with the evil heart, listening to you saying these things there, it doesn't mean anything to him. The individual with the evil heart and the evil mind does not worry about you saying that you don't have hatred. They have already intended or have their plan of what they want to do. So the question I want to ask you, how serious are you looking at those things? Are you just seeing it as another incident or something fly by night?
No, I'm taking this matter very serious. I have told you, my one safe place has always been in church.
Amen.
And so when that is taken away, then it means you have no safe zone. You have no place
The last resort.
again where you can let down your guard and just be yourself. So are you ready to, you can pick any of the posts that was made.
Camera crew? Any one of the posts that was put out there.
Now,
can you zoom it just a little bit so our viewers could read it? Yeah.
yes, I stand with you and your family during these trying times. I further make a call for all St. Lucians to condemn the mudslinging and insult by Honorable Guy Joseph. Now, I want them to show me the mudslinging and the insult.
Yeah.
That is what this discussion has been about. So, Ernest Healy, I want you to show me one thing that is mudslinging, because everything I have said can be substantiated by evidence. I have asked about Ada Inc. I have asked about the minister's account. I have asked about the events that transpired. Put on another one and zoom it. So because I want the people of St. Lucia to understand. Can you zoom on it? SLP says no to abusive campaigning. I face abuse right in the parliament. I've been called Chasney's poodle. I've been called T-boy. I've been called coolie man. What is it that's not abusive? So all of a sudden, is Guy that is the abuser? So what does it say? St. Lucia Labour Party is deeply disturbed by the unwarranted verbal abuse and untruths being leveled towards candidate and his family, especially during this time as they mourn. I don't even want to go to that part of it.
Yeah.
Where is what Guy Joseph has said? So because you all say to yourselves that Guy Joseph said something, that makes it that Guy Joseph said it.
And there's nothing there stating what Guy Joseph said. Nothing at all.
You understand? So all of the foolishness being posted by the Labour Party candidates and their operatives saying that Guy Joseph said disrespectful things. Where are the disrespectful things?
Wait a little closer.
Fret not yourself because of evildoers, neither be envious against the workers of iniquity. I am saddened by the insults and propaganda being thrown by political opponent Honorable Guy Joseph. Now, my lawyers are looking at this, because I have to know anything that is libel. Because if they don't, you see the same way we had to take Robert Lindquist to court to get the information on the report. If I have to take any one of them to court to come and show You all just want to repeat stories you all hear people say.
Yeah.
You all want to come and attack Guy Joseph. You see, Guy Joseph had time to throw insults at people.
So where are the insults? Because we only seen the I'm saddened by the insults.
You have another one?
There's no insults there.
You see, because that is the Labour Party. And you will hear people out there saying, Guy Joseph insulted, he said this, he said that.
Yeah.
So because you say I insult, I insult.
Yeah. And there's nothing to substantiate anything. So instead of condemning with empathy, the actions they come right.
So that's another person now. And it says, so instead of condemning the actions of their comrade bursting into the church, disrupting the service and attacking Guy Joseph, this is what the SLP does. They put out coordinated responses, all with the black and white photos to evoke sympathy and play the sympathy card. So now that was somebody who put a fair statement out there. And that's not from a Labour Party person.
No.
So when you say I stand with you, so you stand with the event that transpired in the church. Because let me tell you, I want the Labour Party, all of these fake fellas in the Labour Party, I want them to come and show what Guy Joseph said that was insulting.
The mudslinging, where is it? Yeah, that's what they continue to say, the mudslinging and insults.
You see, I wanted...
Anything else, Kamaku? No. That's it? Okay.
No, that's just some of them that I put up.
Yeah.
I wanted to get you the section of the report that said that these were things so when you hear they say things that people have done, I want to give them the opportunity to come and show what Guy Joseph said. Because you see that whole incident, Champagne, is premised on a lie. It is fabricated. So you now have to ask yourself, what is the real motive behind this? Because the premise on which the action was taken is not factual. So if it is not factual, what is the motivating factor for it? I know I spoke in the parliament. Dr. Anthony said he gave 3.5 million for projects in Castries Southeast. I responded right there in the parliament. I said, Mr. Speaker, that's a lie.
If he gave it not to you?
I said, if he gave it to his candidate, and go and ask his candidate what he did with the money if he didn't spend it in the constituency.
Right.
But don't come and give the impression that you gave me 3.5 million. So Dr. Anthony is supposed to say that in the parliament, and Guy Joseph is not supposed to respond?
Yeah, you just sit there.
Just sit there?
Yeah.
So the issue about campaign financing, if your party didn't give you money to campaign, is in church you want to come and discuss that? What does that have to do with the church? When you pass me 3 times during the same week in the constituency, so is it because the police officer was with me that nobody decided to stop me or confront me in the constituency? And is it because I was alone in church?
Yes.
So these are the questions that Philip J. Pierre must answer before he come and talk about spinning events in church. Because if any spinning is happening, it is happening by the Labour Party. Not nobody from my side. People from the church have not said anything. People from, my wife came on the program with me. all we related was the incident. I have not done one interview with one media house about this incident. St. Lucia Times called me. I said, I don't want to say anything on this matter. That is why I'm not dealing with the matter pertaining to any individual. I'm dealing with the matter pertaining to the St. Lucia Labour Party led by Philip J. Pierre. So, if you going to premise your actions on the basis of a lie, so there was no time to investigate if the information was true or if it wasn't true. You see, I want the people of St. Lucia to follow where I am going with this thing. If I didn't say anything new, and I did not say anything that had not been said 5 years ago, so why was it triggered at that particular time? Because I don't know that, and I'm waiting. So maybe there's another guy Joseph who said something, and they mistake that guy Joseph for me. So I know at least 3 other guy Josephs, and none of them don't sound like me, and none of them don't look like me.
Right.
And that's what the Baron said.
Yeah, the Baron said that. Yeah. Now you asked me to remind you on your half brother in the constituency.
I'm coming to that.
Okay,
Yes,
we're not
coming
there
to
yet.
that.
Okay.
Yes. So what I'm saying is, I have to ask myself, what is the hidden agenda there that we are not aware of? And what does Philip J. Pierre know that he came out and said what he said? Because he could not have been referring to anything that I said. So there's a mystery to this, and it's for the police to get to the bottom of this thing. I cannot go and investigate a matter pertaining to me. I would love a full investigation into this thing, because I am concerned about that it's the church. So here's what was said, Champagne. An apology was sent. I even know who wrote the apology.
You know who wrote it?
Yes.
Wow.
I know who wrote the apology. But that's not for me to deal with. But a couple days before the apology was written, it was said that it's the church that owed them an apology for having somebody like me in the church.
My goodness.
And when they push the right buttons, I will play it. I'm giving them the time. I'm giving them all the time they want. But I want them to understand that this thing is not going away. This thing has to be dealt with, and it must be dealt with properly.
So the apology, was it to the church or to you?
To the church.
So no apology was ever sent to you?
I don't need any apology.
Okay. I know you don't. I just want to...
I'm saying I'm part of the church, so
Right,
if an apology was sent to the church,
you included.
I'm not separate and apart from the church. So that's how I look at it. But this is what the SLP candidates have been saying, what I highlighted there. Now when men who want to lead a country will come and lie about things like that, you know, none of my colleagues said anything, and they can tell you, when we met, I applauded them. I said to them, I appreciate the fact that none of you have said anything.
Yeah, because I got a lot of calls here, people asking why is it that no one had called the program to say anything on your behalf. And I understood that
because they did not know what transpired. You know, I didn't call my colleagues and tell them, I don't burden persons with my problems. You see what's my problems? I deal with my problems. That's not the best way. My wife tells me that a lot of times, and I want to say a special good night to Wendy. I know you are listening, you are following the program. She already sent me a message to tell me, you know, God is taking care of this matter, so I want you to leave it that way. And I always appreciate the good advice of my wife. But the reality of what we are facing with this St. Lucia Labour Party, you cannot be wrong and strong. You cannot do wrong and want to be right. It's either you are right or you are wrong.
Yeah, but this is the way they've been, Mr. Minister, for the last 40 years. And they don't look like they're going to change.
That is for the young people of St. Lucia. Those who say, when we behave a little way in Parliament, which is a debate that is going on, what is the example for the young people? Today I want them to ask the same question. What is the example for the young people? All those who want to ride the morality train and want to come and say about the behavior of parliamentarians in Parliament when they are debating, I want to hear their voice on this incident and what transpired. Now, I'm coming to Philip J. Pierre and Claudius Francis. What is it that Philip J. Pierre knows that I should be aware of pertaining to that gun? That firearm in question. Philip J. Pierre owes the people of St. Lucia an explanation as to how the firearm came into his possession.
Yes.
And if you want, you can't deny now the firearm was not in your possession, because I have the copy of the statement that was made in relation to that. So, between Claudius Francis, and that is where I will differ with the authorities on this. There's a clear separation from the executive of government and law enforcement. I cannot direct the police what to do. But the police owes it to me and to the people of St. Lucia to get to the bottom of this thing as to how Claudius Francis and Philip J. Pierre ended up with somebody's licensed firearm. Now let me tell you, because I've experienced that before. When my brother got sick, and he had a licensed firearm. When I got to the house, and I knew that his firearm was in the house, I called the police immediately. I said, my brother is sick, he will be traveling, the firearm, somebody needs to be in possession of the firearm. That is law enforcement. Who should be in charge of the firearm? They told me there are two options. The police can come and pick up the firearm, or the dealer, who is a licensed dealer for the firearm. They asked whether I knew where he bought the firearm from, and I said, yes, I know the dealer. I found they said the police was coming from Grozili. I found the police was taking too long to come from Grozili. I don't know where they were and what was happening. You know what I did? I called the dealer who had sold him the firearm, and I said, can you come and collect this firearm as quickly as possible? I will not call the dealer's name, but within minutes, the dealer was there. He was given the firearm with whatever rounds of ammunition, and as we speak, that firearm is still in the possession of the dealer. So, mwen vle sav, es Philippe J. Pierre et Claudius Francis, es yo ni lisans pou van gon, ebe es yo se polis dat yo ni dwa pou ay collect gun from moun. We cannot treat these things lightly, Champagne.
No.
This cannot be treated lightly, because if it was a UWP person,
right.
Can you imagine if it was Alan Chasney that had gone and collected a firearm? And the president of the Senate, and the two of them had in their possession, mahab se tiki-tok yo te kahe ek gon na, hot anlew katan sa pre ek sa bay sa, ek sa pote by police. What's that? A toy gun? A water gun? Now the authorities in this country needs to come out and say to the people what, because I don't agree with the explanations I have heard about this. I want to know whether it is legal for anybody who has a licensed firearm to give it to somebody else to bring it to the police.
Yeah, we need to know.
And the commissioner of police needs to respond to that. Because you see, I have refrained from getting involved in this matter. I have not said anything because I know the executive of government is separate and apart. But I am owed the protection of the law as a citizen of this country.
That is right, and I said it earlier. That is right. That is right.
And I have a right to know how much danger I was in relation to this firearm and why the firearm kept on moving from person to person. What is it that they know pertaining to that firearm, that by the same evening the firearm was somewhere else than where it was in the beginning? And people want to treat this thing lightly. And when you get somebody with a firearm out there, so people can just give, and I heard Claudius give some ludicrous statement about which commissioner had given him permission to collect firearms when firearms was when they had the amnesty. Well, they don't have no amnesty now.
No
I don't know there's any firearm amnesty.
No, and
not. Even if you had a firearm, even amnesty, though you had a permission from a former commissioner, so is it an indefinite thing, permission that you were given? So when these fellas want to come on radio and television and talk their foolishness because they believe that people in this country is stupid, well, it is time that they come to understand that this is not the case. I know when to be calm, and I know when to fire. You see this nonsense that is happening there? This thing needs to stop. So you're waiting until somebody gets shot, somebody gets killed, something happens, and then y'all will come and say, oh, well, we heard this, but we didn't do this and we didn't do that. If the Americans had done, if they had acted swiftly, 9/11 might not have happened.
Sure.
And the reports are there to show that there was sufficient information.
Evidence,
So I have, as a citizen of this country, I have a right to know. I know I was in danger, but I don't know how much danger I was in. And if it is so that I can expect other people to walk into the church, then I need to know what I'm up against.
Yeah. Mr. Minister, the public needs to know what was said when that firearm was brought into the police station. I believe the public has a right to know what was said by whoever brought that firearm into the police station, if it was the corporal or the sergeant, whoever was there. We need to know what was said. Why is this firearm being brought there?
For the record tonight, I will put it on the record again. I have given my statements. I have done what is my part in the process, and I expect the authorities will take the appropriate action that is required.
Yes.
I cannot tell law enforcement what to do. I do not have that authority to be able to dictate what should happen, but I have done my part. And for the people who said that no report was made, I will tell you that is not the case. A report was made within minutes of the event taking place.
So this coming Saturday will be 1 month, huh? That is 1 month. This coming is the 4th week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's see
Now,
where that goes.
Like I said, in fact, there was an incident that transpired, and then I have to ask myself, okay, so when I'm out in the constituency, how safe am I? Because the reality is I'm on the ground. What is happening? So I believe that the leader of the opposition, in Philip J. Pierre, your week ran out. You did not bring anything because you have nothing, but you feel that you could bluff the people of St. Lucia by coming and talk some nonsense on what makes me mad. And it's a good thing is mad, these things making you all mad. Because at the end of the day, for you, you call yourself a deputy prime minister, you want to go home and take certificate to show that you were appointed deputy prime minister, and you come in and talk foolishness. You come in and use something that happened in church and come and say about people spinning when you all are the ones spinning. Philip J. Pierre, call the program. Call anybody you want. And the two of us, I can come with you when you want to play what I said. I am coming with you to be witness. And for all, you know Champagne, these fellas are all over the constituency. You know what the Labour Party campaign is, guys, en volley. Pas vote Bali.
Mais vous avez dit ça combien de fois? Yeah, that has been said for the last 15 years.
So, and imagine, they're going to my canvassers to tell my canvassers that.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about who running nasty campaign?
Yeah, exactly.
Bring one person who can show you where I have said. Now you can get Labour Party people to lie for you, but nobody can factually say that Guy Joseph calls any opponent, any candidate, anybody in the Labour Party a thief. I will tell you, you can manage. I will ask you what you did with the money from the minister's account. I will ask you the 3.5 million in the constituency. I will ask you the vehicle you have. How did you get it?
The changing room in Marigo, all this you could ask.
Yes. I can ask how the changing room in Marigo could cost $650,000.
That's right.
I am entitled to ask
exactly.
that. How could a few loads of sand on the Mon playing field cost $300,000? And let me say tonight, for the people who say, I'm not their friends, I don't buy friends. Friendship is earned. But I'm not their friend. I'm not friends. I call people, their acquaintances, there are people you closer to than other people. But some of these same people, Champagne, would you believe that as I am in government, they are coming to me? Now, I want the people of St. Lucia to hear that. Labour Party candidates coming to me and tell me they did jobs that they want to get paid, and can I facilitate them getting paid?
Candidates.
Candidates. Now here's the best part of the story. The contract is not on their name, you know, but they are telling me, but you know it's me that do the contract. But the person who did the contract is overseas. Can you facilitate the payment on my name?
What?
Tell them, take me to task on it. And I'm not the only person they went to, you know. They've gone to 3 or 4 other ministers in the UWP government saying, you know, I did the job. The person went overseas.
Yeah.
Même se moun nan ka kouye mwen
Même
vole,
si vous n'avez pas eu de corruption à prison.
So facilitate.
Yes.
So I'm saying, but if the contract is not on your name, how can we pay you? And the person want to argue, but the job, but y'all know it's me that do the job. I said, but how can I know it's you that do the job?
Goodness.
The contract. I mean, are these fellas for real? That's why I tell you, it's a set of fake fellas in this Labour Party. Being led by Philip J. Pierre. And these fellas want to come and talk about governance and about credibility and about accountability.
People going broke. So they will stop at nothing now to earn money.
And Champagne,
People going broke.
the name of the contract, I have it right here on this list, you know. The name of the contractor in question, who is supposed to be overseas. And the persons are claiming that they did the job and they're entitled to get paid.
You say candidates, Mr. Minister?
Yes.
Goodness.
But I'm waiting for them. I have more information to release you.
Yeah.
That's why they don't want me around, Champagne. They don't want me around. You know why they don't want me around? Because they understand what is involved. I don't come and make up stories about people. I go, I do my research. I get the information. I come forward and I present the information. Now that information I just gave you there. The person came to me, you know, Champagne. I didn't dream that, you know. The person came to me and said, can you facilitate me? The person I've gone to several persons saying, can you help me get payment?
Oui.
And I challenge the Labour Party. If they can find that Guy Joseph stole $1 from the government of St. Lucia, I ain't running the next election.
They come. But they conducted a report. An
Champagne, I am saying on the program tonight, if they can find where Guy Joseph stole $1 from the government of St. Lucia, I am not running the next election.
That is big.
I don't even need them to find 5 and 10 and 15 and 20 or 100,000 or million. Find where Guy Joseph stole $1 from the government.
The challenge is out there. They would love that. They would love to find one. But there's none.
You remember the first time when they said we took the Taiwanese money and we did not do projects? I was in opposition. You know what I said? No, I was in government. You know what I said to them? Get a quantity surveyor. Go and value all the projects that was executed in my constituency. And if it does not add up to the amount of projects that allocations that the Taiwanese gave for projects, I'm refunding the full amount.
Right.
They never took me
find
out.
it.
Champagne is one thing I pride myself on. I don't care what these people say about me. You see, stealing, that's not for me.
That's not in your...
I'm not even tempted to steal.
Yes.
You give me that room full of money.
Yes.
Ask anybody. I used to be the treasurer in my church. You can ask my sister. When the book was not balancing, you know what I would do? Sometimes I'll take my whole salary and put it in there to balance the books, because I would not touch a dollar of anybody that does not belong to me.
Yes.
I go to the cashier. They gave me, one time in the US, they gave me extra change. I brought the money back because I said, but it's the cashier that will have to pay that day. She insisted that I gave her the right. She gave me the right. And I'm saying to her, and you know, I left there and I went away, and that's still on my conscience. Because I said, that's somebody working for, and I wasn't in government yet. So it's not that I was in government and I was making a decent salary.
Yes.
As people would think, oh, a government. You see, the Labour Party thinks that if they call you a volley, that makes you a volley. Now, if they know about volley, they can tell us. But none of them can make me a thief. And every time they have tried to get me in an area, it has backfired on them. It's not because I'm good, Champagne. It's because God is watching over me.
That's right.
And I have a lot of people praying for me.
Oh, yes. But, Mr. Minister, that is a fraudulent activity to have a contract on someone's name. That individual is not on island. Take that contract and put it on someone else's name. That is fraudulent. That is against the law. That is a crime.
But they are asking. So let's come to the family issue now.
I agree.
There's a fella going around the constituency telling everybody he's my half-brother. To the point where the Labour Party bought him a vehicle. And he has the vehicle driving around, parading, and so many of my constituents telling me, I didn't know that person was your brother.
In Belgique?
Oui. So, I mean, for the Labour Party to go to that level.
Yes. Desperation. You
want to give my father a boat to try and gain votes?
Yes.
And then you want to come and accuse me?
Yeah.
Now, Champagne, I came with the results of the last elections. Because sometimes you have to deal with these things so that people begin to understand that you are not behind. Okay? In the last elections, that's Denver. Let me give you Castries Southeast. Because it is in Castries Southeast, the Labour Party got 3,164 votes. The United Workers' Party, that's myself, I got 4,325 votes. A lead of over 1,000 votes. Why would I go and do things? Why would I go and make up stories about people?
And now, in opposition,
In opposition. And you know, when you're in government, you lose a few votes. Because there are people. There's a fella who used to support me and he left me. You know, since he left me, I've gained more votes. You know, they have some people who support you. And other people don't vote for you because of these people.
I know that is a fact. That is for sure. Because of me say, ma vote by guy. Because of me say can support the guy, ma vote by guy. It is true.
So when I look at the amount of swing votes that are, and that's not my style of campaign. If you realize, I don't mention names in my campaign. I don't mention names on my platform. I don't mention names of candidates on my program. I'm dealing with Philip J. Pierre as the leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party, the leader of the opposition. And I don't expect him to come and lie to the people of St. Lucia.
Well, you already did.
On a matter like this, you're going to make people believe that you have video about Guy Joseph and what Guy Joseph said is so bad. So which one is worse? to have, now, I can show you a press release. I have it there. I would have to search for it in the back. I can show you a press release where Philip JPS, said that my brothers, close relatives and friends got projects to the value of $2-something million. Imagine 5 years in government as Minister of Communications, Works and Transport. And after he carried out all his investigations, he found out that my brothers, friends and close friends. So they had to add up names.
Yes, make some.
To try and make it look like in 5 years, less than $3 million worth of work given to people that he associated with me. That's Philip JPA. And Philip JPA come and say that's not true. I have the press release from 2013. And I still have it in my possession. So that's why I tell them, don't come and make up stories about Guy Joseph. Because I keep my records, and when I say it, I can back it up. You see, when I don't have all the information, I may not say it, or I may tell you, look, I got a call. In the transcript, have you heard the amplified transcript of what transpired in the church?
No.
Now that is to deal with that. I want the police to do their work first.
And then you're gonna,
because it was sent and it was amplified, and you would hear some of the things that was said that
yes,
you cannot pick up
on the normal video.
On the normal video, just listening to
Yes,
it.
yes.
So tonight, I want the people of Castries Southeast to understand. This is not a fake. I'm real. What you see is what you get. I have tried over the years to give you the best representation possible, and I know you appreciate that, and you in return have given me the support.
Let me ask you something, Mr. Minister, and I don't know if you know this. During the passing of your opponent's son, the passing of his son, would you know whether he had suspended his campaign, or was he still active in campaigning? You don't know.
Even though he was, I don't care to comment on this.
Okay.
I don't want to comment on this.
Okay.
What I can tell you is the people of Castries Southeast knows.
Okay.
That's not, I don't make
That's
judgment.
not for you.
I don't make judgment calls on these things. For me, a man is a man, and he does what he wants with his time.
I understand.
He handles his problems or his situations the way that he feels. I have no interest in how individuals choose to handle. But if you do your stuff, don't put me in it. If I look for something and I get what that comes to me, then so be it. But don't come and make up stories, Philip JPA. Do not come and try to justify what that cannot be justified. And if you realize my problem is with the Labour Party and what they continue to perpetuate in this country is false, is propaganda. Everything about these fellas is fake. I mean, how many lies? When a man will tell himself a lie and begin to believe that his lie is truth.
Yeah. To himself.
To himself. When a man can deceive
himself. Yeah.
I mean, the Labour Party is deceiving their own selves.
Yeah. That is sick.
I don't know. Maybe psychologists can find a word to describe these fellas.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something. All of St. Lucia would love to get down to the bottom of what transpired, and they're happy that you said, because I got calls in the hundreds, that we had a huge debate for days here, where persons were saying that a report was not made into the police, and I'm happy that tonight you said, yes, a report was indeed made to the police. So let us see what comes out of this.
A report was made, Champagne. and I have given my statement. So apart from the day when the police came in and they took note of what transpired, what they were told, I have since written a formal statement which has been submitted to the police.
Okay, great.
So, saying that action cannot be taken is, you have to give the police time. They have to investigate. So I cannot tell the police you have to do that today or you have to do that tomorrow or this or that. What I can tell you is that I took my time. I prepared the report. I went through the report. I related exactly what happened, how I felt. And then that report has been submitted to the best of my knowledge as the incident which transpired. But that is why tonight I said, how can Philip J. Pierre, as leader of the Labour Party, and that's why, I mean, when you're going to run such a nasty campaign where you have people, fake people posing as my brother in the constituency, going house to house and doing all kinds of things and telling people that's my brother.
Bon, Isamu, inatifwezao.
Macwell.
No, this is the lowest level. That is really desperation.
I mean, I'm laughing at this because
I know.
I mean, how sick can this Labour Party be? What is wrong with people that you're going to do something like this?
Yeah, I could imagine the amount of the kinds of thing that fake guy would be saying to the voters or the constituents. Moi c'est foi, nous live ensemble, you pas de gars qui demande venir home, all kinds of nonsense. Because you know the guy has to put on a show.
Well, Champagne, if you get a van, to do things. Now you see, when people try to follow, that's why I tell you, when you want to be a leader, you have to be a leader. You can't be a follower. So I have made investments in the constituency, in getting a bus to do funerals. The people of Castries Southeast knows for the last 13 or 14 years, we've been doing that. We've been doing that consistently because my representation is different from other people. My constituency is different. My connection with my people is different. I deal with people. When an elderly lady like my friendess and you know, she's actually 91.
Oh, wow.
And I was telling her, if I had to guess her age, I would say she was in the late 70s. She looks very well for her age, and other than the eyesight that she has the problem. When you've developed relationships with people, when they understand you and you understand them, and you understand the needs of the constituency and what they are looking for and the type of relationship that they want to have. Now, when other people come around and they're trying to follow,
change that,
but to tell me that as a party, as a Labour Party, you're going to fake family?
That tells you that their message is not reaching anywhere. So now they have to take it to another level.
No, but how can you have somebody going around the constituency pretending to be my brother?
Well, what they have done before, it doesn't seem to be working. So now they have to take it to another level, some other level where they think it could work. So they have to make a guy. You got fail, you got clone. So they have cloned a guy, Joseph.
But this is sick. It's people who are sick mentally who do that.
That is a sickness.
And I want to ask Philip J. Pierre, how can you all allow this to be happening? I mean,
Philip J. Pierre can stop that.
You're going to fake people. You're going to put fake people to go around and pretend that they are my brother and tell people that they are my brother. And I mean,
Well, if they could fake a brother, you can say.
But you remember years ago they said I had some sister who was married in Canada, and all the bobble we made, the money went on that person's name,
about the farm and all kind of stuff.
I mean,
they say you own a farm, a farm in Canada, hundreds of acres.
I don't have a Canadian visa, Palace. You know, it is amazing.
Yeah.
And I wonder, people of St. Lucia, look at it. If you see I join the Labour Party tomorrow, I'm a saint, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. But we've seen it. There are two saints that just joined last year. Two saints.
They will. So, people need to stop allowing these crooked fellas of the Labour Party to think for them. The Labour Party supporters need to be able to think for themselves, Champagne. It cannot be. Now, you know, for me, that is taking it too far. If you go into fake my brother, if you go into fake a family member, what will you not do?
So come on, Desmond Joseph, come on, Bugla. You baba no.
By the
But he has to be a Joseph. The last name has to be Joseph in order for it to work. They didn't use the Joseph.
I'm not sure that the name is Joseph.
Okay.
I'm not sure that the name is Joseph.
Okay.
But what I'm saying to you is, I want the people of Castries Southeast to open their eyes and their ears. If the Labour Party had anything on Guy Joseph, I would not be seated here.
I believe that.
How many persons got arrested when we were in government previously?
It's true.
Huh?
It's true.
Okay. So you think the Labour Party would
spare you
5 years in government, and there was something they could arrest me for?
Yeah. That's a good point you're bringing up. There were other people that were arrested and Guy Joseph was never.
When they talk about vehicles, I bought a vehicle. I ordered a vehicle, duty-free, as a minister, because if the value is below 100,000 CIF, that's cost freight and insurance. I wasn't the one who ordered the vehicle. I ordered the vehicle through somebody who was bringing in vehicles. The vehicle was for $25,000 US. I sent in my document. When the vehicle came here, the fellas tried to change the price of the vehicle on me. So I tell them, I'm not paying no more for the vehicle. I guess when they realized that it was my vehicle, because they tried to change the price of the vehicle. So I said, no, here's the information you gave me. That is the information that's available.
So what are you saying? It was on the invoice? The price was too less?
No, the dealer themselves tried to make some more money on the vehicle by saying that the vehicle was that price. So I said, no, we had the deal. That's the amount of money, because I deposited half of the money and I had to send the other half when the vehicle got here for them to release the papers. So the vehicle stayed more than a month on the port. I said, no, here's all the correspondence. This is what was agreed to, and this is what is being paid for the vehicle. To make a long story short, I paid $2,000 more US, more for the vehicle than the price. Within days of clearing the vehicle from customs, customs started an investigation on the vehicle, saying that I brought in a vehicle and I under invoice the vehicle. That's what they said. I was called to a meeting. That building, I think they just knocked down by where Computer World is down there. I'm not sure if it's the one they knocked down or the one next to it. Sir Julian Hunt used to have an office there. There's a car park down. I was brought upstairs there. They had about 5 or 6 customs officers in the room. I sat there.
Were you in government or opposition?
I'm in government as we won this
Right
term
now?
in
Now this
government.
time,
Yes.
really? Okay.
As we won this election after 2016.
16, okay.
So I went in. I told them I heard they all said that I under-invoiced my vehicle and whatever. So they said, yes, the person who sold, the person who sold me the vehicle said that they under-invoiced the vehicle for me. I said, the person who sold me the vehicle under-invoiced the vehicle. They said the person in Japan and not the person in St. Lucia. So I said, and that person is exporting vehicles to St. Lucia still, and is only my vehicle. So have you all stopped him from exporting vehicles from Japan into St. Lucia? So I looked at the customs officers and I said to them, I said, gentlemen, if I had to do anything with that vehicle, I would over-invoice it to get a higher value. I wouldn't under-invoice it because it's duty-free and it's below the value. He tell me, oh, you're not supposed to say you're going to over-invoice it. I said, because that's how ridiculous the nonsense you all are telling me. Now, I know who called them. I know who spoke to the fella in Japan. Okay? I know everything because I tell them I am a better investigator than most of them. I knew who called. I knew who tried to set up the thing too. So all the time I'm back and forth with them because I know I have my evidence. So we went back and forth, back and forth. Eventually it got to the point where they asked me, so where's the information here? I had 2 phones. I had my personal phone. So I took my personal phone and I said, look here, these are my conversations from June. Here's the picture of the vehicle. The vehicle was supposed to have a leather interior and it was supposed to have mag rims. It didn't come with the leather interior. It didn't come with the mag rims. So that should have made the vehicle cheaper.
Much less, yeah.
But I paid $2,000 more for the vehicle as I showed them all the conversations. You know what the customs officers told me? Your information corresponds with what we have. I said a while ago, a few minutes ago, you told me that you have information that I had under-invoiced the vehicle. Today you come in and show me. You come in now as I have the evidence to show you what transpired. You come in and tell me my information corresponds with yours. So if they could set me up, they would have set me up. You understand? But today, when information is readily available for customs officers to do their work appropriately, you hear all kinds of stories. So they have one set of rules for one set of people in this country and another set of rules for another set of persons. It did not take them 3 days. The first working day in January, my vehicle came here in December. By the time it stayed there and then the vehicle was cleared, I think as soon as the holidays was over, they had finished their investigation. They had brought me in already to question me. But I tell them, you see bubble, you see corruption, you see lies, you see these things, they'll have to find some other way to get guy. They will never succeed in these areas because I tell my PSCs, all of them that I've worked with, if I ever ask you to do anything that is not keeping with the rules of engagement of the public service, be sure to tell me, Minister, this cannot be done. Because I don't know everything. I know some things. And I know what I can do and what I cannot do. So they can check all what they want. They did all the investigation. You pay $3 million and you hide the report.
Yeah.
You got customs fellas to come and try and get something on me on a vehicle. Why would I under-invoice a vehicle?
Yeah. Now, you know, you promised us a little bit of little nips and pieces from the Lindquist report, and you say you'll give it to us in little intervals, little pieces, little pieces, little pieces. We don't expect the whole report, but if you would give us a little piece every Monday night.
I have the report. I can give you some information.
Yes, there's a little piece every
But
time.
Champagne, I want the people of St. Lucia to open their eyes to the approach of the Labour Party.
Yeah, it's
for
dangerous.
civil unrest, for violence, for promoting activities that are not in keeping with peaceful elections. I think the people of St. Lucia, this Labour Party, they are a set of persons who want to create chaos. They don't care what they damage. No. They don't care what they mash up. They don't care. They are just a bunch of people who will stop at nothing but creating chaos. And they endorse chaos.
Yeah.
They endorse illegal activities that we are seeing happening. And we need, I was supposed, the people in the area, when they plan their walk, and I gave a little sponsorship for took a few cases of water. They were up in arms. Minister having, look at how many activities the Labour Party themselves have.
I heard there was something last night in Ancillary.
Okay. Now, you know that vehicle in Ancillary is a vehicle from Castries Southeast.
I saw the vehicle. I know it. Little short. I know the vehicle very well.
All right. So, that's not the brother.
No.
That's not the one.
That is not him. Okay.
No, that's not the brother.
Not him.
But there's another fake brother going around, claiming.
My goodness.
So, I'm putting the people of Castries Southeast and the people of St. Lucia on alert. When a Labour Party can fake family to try and undermine and discredit somebody, that is this family. And I told them, when you saw and I warned the people of St. Lucia, I said everything the Labour Party touches, they destroy.
Oh, yeah.
And I said friends, family, and foreigners will be destroyed. And you remove this, and those who quoted scripture for me in the
Also Parliament.
in the things that they posted.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes, yes.
That I showed tonight. They need to go and read God's approach towards foreigners. They need to go and read that. If they want to quote scripture, don't quote half of it and leave the other half. But when I said they would destroy family especially, I never, even myself, while I know the Labour Party is capable of doing a lot of wicked and evil things, I would never think that the Labour Party would reach to that point
to clone
where
someone.
you would attack family to the point where you're going to give fake family.
They clone a guy Joseph. There's a clone guy Joseph.
I mean,
that is where they have gotten
for you to do that. I mean, what are you going to regard as sacred in this country?
These guys will resort to nothing. Nothing.
I mean, the church is not safe when it comes to the Labour Party. The community is not safe. Now the family is not safe. So tomorrow, Champagne, you might hear you have 3 children over there you are feeding.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That has been said all the time.
So one time, I have children over there, but now I'm cursed because I have no children. You see the inconsistencies of the Labour Party. And I want to tell the people of St. Lucia, si vous voulez me St. Lucie, abalame moun ki ni malédiction, then whole St. Lucie can malédiction.
You think that's what has happened to them? You think they have a malediction?
But c'est mon malédiction, yon qui a fait ça, Champagne.
I believe they have a malediction, seriously. No.
Personne qui a right tête, yo pas ça fait ça, ou kay aller, ou kay faire moun di yo c'est frère moun.
Yeah, can you believe it? Can you believe it?
I mean, how can you do that? Okay, if I have brothers who want to support you, no big deal. They can go, they can support you, they can do this, they can do that. But to create fake brothers for me. So what they're going to create just now? Fake children, a fake wife.
Well, they might fake Alan Chasney and send him down to Miku South.
But Champagne, the people of St. Lucia need to, I mean, we are saying this jokingly,
but this is serious.
The people of St. Lucia need to understand the people who want to be the alternative government in this country. And when I said that these fellas are not even fit to be in opposition, I mean, I didn't know it was getting that bad.
Oh, yeah.
You know how many people approach me and tell me, so, but you never told me that was your brother. And I'm saying, what y'all talking about? And they're saying, but that's what they are doing. That person is saying that they are your brother. I mean,
so you see the tragedy. So that individual will go to the homes and play a nice guy, show a nice face, saying, Mama, say for a guy Joseph. So try to see if they could convert these people, switch them to the other side. This is serious, you know.
Non, mais Champagne, si on a gagné un fan bao, pour c'est frère.
Oui. My goodness, c'est un fou.
I mean, these are, no, it's not just being mad. These are a set of sick people.
Yes.
And you put St. Lucia into their hands, and we finished. This country, I mean, I don't even want to think of what will happen to St. Lucia.
Oh, yeah.
And we are getting closer to the elections. Those who want to vote on emotion, you can vote on emotion. Those who want to vote, say party, so no matter how you I vote, all of us will pay the price. If you see Labour Party ever, by some miracle, form this government, les malédictions tombent, les whole
pays. Malédiction, oui.
Champagne, we should take a few
calls. You're taking a few calls. It's 8 minutes after the hour of 10 o'clock. Send us a weird turning on the phone lines if you'd like to call in. How we're going up to what? 11, 10, 30, 11 o'clock? 4560931 is our number to call if you'd like to call in to, based on what you've heard tonight, make a statement, a comment, ask the minister a question. We'll be really happy that the minister could answer you. 4560931 or 4850931. And we'll have calls coming in on both lines. A beautiful evening to you. Hello. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, can you hear me? Yes, sir. Good evening.
Bonsoir,
Monsieur Guy. Oui.
Bonsoir, Monsieur Champagne.
Bonsoir pour vous, monsieur.
Moi, je voulais vous dire, monsieur Guy, moi, je voulais vous dire, a-t-il la vérité exacte à Léa? Moi, je voulais savoir, 6 jours où vous pouvez, quand sympathy by monsieur opposition about Ishmael Moore. Est-ce que estimé n'avait vu dans l'église là? Eh bien, 6 jours.
Mais ça doit directement qui non, moi vois commission même jour la mort.
Même jour la mort. Bon.
Oui.
So il vient à toi l'église là le samedi.
Oui. C'est pas même samedi, c'est pas samedi après ça. Moi c'est about décembre. Mardi oui. Mardi oui. Mais ça doit.
Ah well. Voilà l'indusement, newsement, investigation, moi dis-moi pour ça. Madame, si vrai, si pas vrai, but il y a l'edge côté où il y a strong supporter à Southeast Castries, où il y a un petit travail, et ils vont à ce chai, et puis ils parlent, lion, bouche, les fun pour manger, et puis je viens mauvais à sous, et puis Jakim. Bon, position c'est pour ça, ici à présent, yo dis moi, il move aller l'autre pays.
Nous pas nommer non moun dans les programmes là.
Nous pas nommer non moun.
OK. So ba répondre question. According to record my commission a été votée 3rd of April.
L'histoire avril.
Yeah.
Oui. Ek bay la fête dans l'église là li 24 mois.
Et 3 semaines après? 3 semaines après quoi là?
Il y a 6 semaines avant.
Il voyait condolences là on the 4th of April. So, il a fait 3 semaines après.
3 semaines après.
Oui.
Après, Alex, committing fait, et je vois monsieur Mouché, et voilà, moi de mon côté, monsieur, à un certain côté, et là, il veut là, jour avant, monsieur, vient dans l'église là, il dit comme ça, côté c'est vous qui fait au bien pour courir politique, et pour tuer Castries. C'est pour ça que ils ont tué à l'église là, ils ont dit, guys, who evil, but pas evil, on est bâton, Moses là, bon Dieu, que balia. Bâton ça là, chébé fort, because laissez pas un tué à l'église là pour détruire. Ou là, j'ai bâton là, et puis valer ces pains là.
Oui.
Bon, j'ai fini. Parce que, right now, je clone pour passer à Constituency à Castries pour janvier next. Mais on bénit.
Oui.
But I worry about that because a Constituency needs next for this ladies 7 days.
Merci.
And 75% of the 7 days là, j'ai allé contre opposition.
Mais les gars, vous désavouez.
Nous n'y assez vote tout ça au cas de 5,450 votes. So power recall.
All right. Merci autant qu'on l'a, merci. OK?
Vous béni, rien pas qu'à faire.
All right, merci.
Rien pas qu'à faire.
Nia, bonne soirée.
Merci un pile caller.
You want to respond to
it?
Okay. Thanks for holding, caller. Good evening. Hello? Hello? Hello, good evening. Okay, so we lost this one. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening to the minister.
Good evening.
And to you, Mr. Champagne.
Good evening to you, sir. Thank you.
All right. Minister, according to your report tonight, according to your revelations tonight, to me, who have been close to law enforcement, I always say this statement, which is, justice must be served. That's a statement in law. Mm-hmm. And there is also the statement that they call justice must be seen to have been served. Now, I'm understanding that you made a statement to the police, and clearly you know the difference between a report and a statement. Let me ask you one question, because there are some moves that the police can do as part of their tools of investigation. They have many tools. Did anywhere, or is anywhere on your statement, you wrote that you made the statement just for information purposes?
Which statement?
The statement you wrote different to the report that was made? The report about the incident that happened at Forest here.
No. when the police came in, they were informed of what transpired, and then the police asked you to give a written statement of what transpired.
On that statement, did you say that you want no further police action, or you just made it for record?
No, I didn't say anything like that. I just related exactly what transpired and how I felt.
All right, because what I've been knowing, what I've been hearing is that a statement was not made, and therefore action could not be swift. Now tonight, hearing it from you, I would expect that the police would start making some form of investigation, and some meaningful action would be taken. For instance, this involves a firearm. Clearly, this incident involves a firearm. And a firearm is a serious offense. Okay, there are two sets of people that could be brought in for questioning. The people who handed the firearm to the police, and also the firearm holder. Okay, they should be brought in for questioning. And at least, if the subject of that firearm, the license holder, if anything at all, there must be an evaluation on that man's mental state to have him out in the public. And as you rightly said, the public deserves to know what authority is doing about that. Other than that, it appears that there are two tiers of justice. One to politicians and one to ordinary people.
Yeah.
And
To some politicians, because if it's me that had done that, that's why I was giving my incident with the vehicle. 3 days into the new year, I got the vehicle in late December. As soon as the holidays were over, Customs had completed an investigation and had me in for questioning on a vehicle that I had everything up to date and above board on. And look at some others, 5 years, they cannot deal with it. So among the politicians who are fortunate to be treated differently, I am not in that category. For that matter, I've been more of a target than I've been given a privilege.
Understood.
All right, caller, I give you another 30 seconds, okay?
Yes. So clearly, from that point, it appears that there are two tiers of justice. And from tonight or tomorrow, unless the police has some information where some insurrection, some kind of uprising, some kind of public disturbance will happen if that subject is brought in, then there should be an action showing the public that the police is not afraid to take action, because the minister is saying that a statement was made. So why is this man not taken into custody? Why is this man not being questioned? Why is he allowed to even run for public office?
Amen. Amen, caller. All right. Samsa, caller. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Have a good evening. Hello, good evening. Thanks for holding.
Good evening, Champagne. Good evening, brother. How you doing?
Good evening. We're all right. Thank you. Hello? Are you there? Hello? Hello? So it looked like we still there's a little issue. This was an overseas call. 4560931 is our number, or 4850931. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Brother Guy,
Yes.
I love your attitude and your ways. And you do the right thing. But my opinion, as I will say, the Ethiopian should be arrested. Right? And also Claudius. Because what I want to find out is, if they have the gun before that fellow Joachim come to your church, or you have to factor that when he come from the church, he has the gun to Philip JPS. I want to find out that. That is something on my head all the time. If he gives Philip JPS gun to
You see,
Okay.
caller,
All right, caller.
that is part of the reason why I have asked that this matter be looked into very seriously. Because I can tell you, none of my colleagues knew what had transpired when it transpired. How did Philip J. Pierre get to know that so quickly?
Yeah,
What
exactly.
had transpired? How he had gotten involved? What is it? Because there are missing links in this whole incident.
Yeah. Thanks for holding, caller. Good evening.
Hi, good night.
Good night, sir.
I want to say, hello?
We could hear you. Go ahead, caller.
I want to applaud the Minister Guy for his conduct, what happened in the church.
Mm.
Ever since 1979, during the this power struggle, I've been trying to understand politics and have not been able to understand it, even to this day. I have always personally looked at the Labour Party as a confused party. And what Minister Guy has said there, he's very correct. I don't want to go over what he has said because he's correct in everything that he has said.
Yeah.
And the good word says that you have to give praise to whom praise is due and give honor to him to whom honor is due.
Yeah.
And one thing I'm very much surprised, today I was talking to some people about that. The SLP. You mean to tell me the UWP administration have not done nothing, anything that the SLP, that the opposition could support? Nothing whatsoever. And so much as to not even applauding the government for the COVID rules that they have implemented to keep transitions in safe hands.
Caller, if they went about and burning down 52 banana sheds and I think getting rid of so many plantations, you think they're going to worry about what the government did for COVID?
You understand? Let me say to the Prime Minister, I want to, as we always pray for him, and I'm in favor of the good work that he is doing in St. Lucia. When you look at what's happening the world over, economies, state economies and state problems, St. Lucia is doing well.
Yeah.
For a small country.
Thank you.
More so, I want to applaud Minister Guy for
Thank
the
you,
work
caller.
that he is doing, for the work that he has done in St. Lucia.
Amen.
And I want him to know that we are praying for him. He is a target, but I believe in miracles.
All right. Thanks a lot, caller.
thank you very
Have a good evening. All right. Thanks for holding, caller. Good evening. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening to you, Champion.
Good evening. Thank you.
And good evening to Mr. Minister.
Good evening.
Well, I am calling from Castries Southeast. You are my rep.
Thank you.
What I want to say is that concerning this incident that happened at the church, Champagne, what I want to say is that this place is the house of God.
Yes, sir.
Okay? It is a place of peace. It is a place of sovereignty. It is been called as a spiritual hospital where you will go to find peace, to find refuge, to find comfort.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that you, as a candidate, you have endorsed for the next general election to represent Castries Southeast. Okay, you are mourning the passing of your son. I think the best place to go and seek comfort, to seek refuge, is in the house of God. So why would you be going into the house of God to create trouble, create that misunderstanding with the minister that is in government? Okay? I find that is total disrespect to the house of God total disrespect to the minister, total disrespect to the country, and total disrespect to himself as a candidate want to represent the constituency. So if you have not been elected as a government minister as yet, and you're already portraying that kind of behavior, that kind of action, what is to tell? Would you do any better if you are elected?
That's a big question that has to be asked.
And I'm saying that the law should be looked deep into that, because Champagne, at the end of it all, neither me nor you, no one is above the law.
Amen, caller.
The law is the law. And the word of God says you obey the laws of the land. So when you disobey the laws of the land, you have to get punished by the laws of the land.
Agree.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Minister, I am saying to you, when he entered that building is a place where I come to worship sometimes. And when you enter that building, Champagne,
yes, sir,
by the time you get to the door and you raise your head, you will see the person on the pulpit before you see the people in the congregation.
Yes.
Okay? And you telling me you are already in the center of that building, and the person that you're searching for is standing right in front of you, and you cannot see him. You know what happened, Champagne?
Yes.
Mr. Minister, he saw you. Okay? But he could not have seen you. You know why? Because of the level of violence that he was on, God would not allow him to see you. Okay? Now God sealed your victory for you at the next election. And I am saying to you that no matter what they say or what they do, you are an unmovable rock. Yes. And they cannot do nothing with you because God is your foundation.
Amen.
And I want to let you know that you always have my support in prayer.
You calling
God
from
be with you and Champagne.
Yes, sir.
You calling from Forest,
brother.
Thank you very much.
And God bless you all. Mr. Minister, take care. When you go home safe, reach home safe. God bless you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Right. Thank you very much, caller. All right. Special good evening to you. Hello. Hello. Don't listen to the radio or your TV. Just speak with us. Hello. Good evening.
Hello. Good evening.
Go ahead, sir. Good evening.
Hey, how are you, Champagne?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Okay, I just called to make...
The minister is here as well, not just me.
Hey, Guy Joseph, how are you?
I'm good.
All right, you okay? I just called to make one, as an ex-police officer, just one little correction for Guy Joseph. He's my friend, my buddy. Any licensed firearm holder can uphold any person's firearm if they realize that the person is in a moment of distress or anger.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Joseph, as a licensed firearm holder, you got training, you know, right?
I don't have a firearm, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's not, no.
I deeply apologize.
So you're saying any licensed firearm holder could...
For instance, Champagne, I totally condone what you Joaquin did. All right? He shouldn't have gone to the church and still be religious function. That is against the law of the state.
Right.
All right? But what I'm saying is that if Champagne is my friend,
and
Champagne is a licensed holder,
yes,
and I realize Champagne is getting out of the way,
yes,
and I am a licensed firearm holder, I can uphold Champagne's firearm.
Okay.
Special branch.
All right. Thank you for that information, caller.
You're welcome.
Yes. All right. Beautiful.
Wonderful night.
All right. Great. And that was very important. I didn't know that.
So, I mean, I can ask questions about that, but my issue is at what point the incident happened in the church, minutes to 11 in the morning, at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, which is around the time I saw on some of the information that was going around, is when the firearm, so the person who is alleged to be out of control between 11 and 5, what happened?
6 hours later.
Because I understand the caller to be saying in a moment of distress and whatever, that you can do something, but the issue is one person can take it and give it to another person. And I mean,
according to what he's saying, it appears to me that both of those persons are licensed firearm holders as well, based on what he said. Based on what he said. Anyway, we have a call.
Yeah.
Thanks for holding. Good evening.
Good evening, Champion.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Joseph.
Good evening.
Well, I was listening to...
We could barely hear you, caller. You want to speak a little louder, please? Thank you.
Okay, I said I was listening to both parts of the program.
Yes.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, much better. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, good, sorry. And I listened to Mr. Joseph speaking with a passion from his heart. And I want to applaud him and also his church members the way that they handled the situation. But one question I want to ask him, the members that were at the church on that Saturday, have you got a record of everybody's name that were there that day for your record purpose?
There is a record of everybody who's present in church every Saturday because of the COVID protocols that are required. And I will tell you, the two persons who invaded the church did not even follow the basic COVID protocols. And I don't recall seeing them wearing masks either at the time. So I'm just saying that other than that, everybody else who comes to church, the temperatures are recorded on every given day. So, and the dates are there to verify who was there.
And another thing before we depart, I think that they're listening to you tonight, and the police, they're supposed to be taking immediate steps, I would say, from tomorrow, if they have things in order already. They should be running and not crawling on this matter.
Well, caller, the police have their own way of investigating matters, so we have to give them that.
Like I said, I'm more concerned about, we know what happened. We saw the incident. It is the unknowns that causes a greater level of discomfort, because the issue of the firearm coming into play and making it to the media and all of that, you have to ask yourself, I want any other St. Lucian to put themselves in my place or to put themselves in the place of any other church member who experienced what transpired, and had it not been the intervention of God. Because I can tell you, caller, contrary to what other people may think, I believe that that was one of the greatest miracles that I have experienced in my lifetime. I mean, you read in the Bible that when Balaam was going to go and curse the children of Israel, and he was on the donkey, and then there was an angel with a flaming sword, and the donkey would not pass. And if the donkey had passed, Balaam would have been killed. And then, so until God, the donkey spoke to him, and he did not even realize the donkey was speaking to him. He spoke back to the donkey because he kept on beating the donkey to go through, and the donkey is seeing that there's an angel with a flaming sword. I have read the story in the Bible where they wanted to kill Jesus before his time. And when they came and they took him to the cliff, and they wanted to, you could say it was not a disappearing act, but he performed, something was done that prevented them from being able to execute their plan, because it was not the time. And I'm telling you, I don't want to paint or prejudice any thinking. I want to allow the law to do what it has to do. But it's only those of us, and I have said to people, I have the best view of what is happening, or what happened. Because I was the only one on the platform, on the pulpit, and I was the one, so I saw everything from the start. Everybody's back was exactly until they got. So I know what I saw, and I don't want to prejudice anything at this point in time. I will reserve comment on this. But I think the officer who came in, and when he spoke to me, he was very much aware, because he advised of some things that should be done, and concerns that he had highlighted, because he's known me. And so I am telling you, people just make it look like I was confronted in church. That's not true. I could have been confronted anywhere else. Yeah. That was not intended to be a confronting of an individual in church.
Yeah. All right, Kola?
All right, then.
All right.
Mr. Minister, you say goodbye to your beautiful wife for me, Wendy.
I will do that.
Yeah.
All
right, then.
Thanks a lot, Kola.
She's listening.
Have a good evening.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thanks for holding. Good evening. Hello.
Good evening, Champagne. How you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Brother Guy, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, I'm listening from all the way in the USA. Brother Guy and Brother Champagne, as we all know, and all solutions know, it's in the St. Lucia Labour Party's DNA to be violent, to be aggressive, and to be lawless, to be lawbreakers. From 1979, Champagne, and you keep, my brother, you keep saying it and you're right.
Yeah.
From 1979, the St. Lucia Labour Party is like that. They attack you personally. They say they spread lies about you. They go personal and they even attack your own family, all in an effort to scare supporters of the United Workers' Party. But you see, what they don't realize is the politics has changed. The politics of 1979 has changed, has evolved. So they cannot, they attempt to fabricate lies about people once you're a supporter of the UWP or you're a candidate. But you remember the so-called guy who now is the top supporter? He said they went to the Barbados embassy, Claudius Francis and a whole bunch on a delegation, and said to the US American authorities certain things about him, and his visa was revoked. He said it publicly, and now he's in their bosom. They went, remember Dr. Von Lewis, when he was Prime Minister and leader of the UWP. They call him all sorts of names. We know that. And when he came on their platform, he was a saint. And he himself, Von Lewis, said that was water under the bridge. Kenya Anthony has went as far as writing a book on that same said individual. So, to be strong, and as the weeks and months get closer to the elections, the Labour Party is going to get more and more desperate, because they recognize that they have no platform to campaign, they have no issues, they have no plan. The leader, Philip Yepte, is clueless, he has no vision, he has no plan. So his strategy now is to resort to dirty politics.
Let me ask something else. So because from 1979 these guys have gone out doing their thing, in the lead up to the 1997, they burned banana sheds, destroy stuff, almost killed Sir John. So is it okay? So it is okay for these things to continue to happen? Is that what
it's not okay?
No, but this is what I'm saying. We are faced with this behavior for over 40 years. No one has suffered the consequences, and it continues to come up every 5 years. No one has put in jail for those actions. So every 5 years, we are seen with this type of behavior, and nobody is penalized for these things. We cannot continue to have this in this country.
Remember, Champagne, what Kenny Anthony said in Parliament. He said, we will fight them in the streets, we'll fight them in Parliament, we'll fight them in court. So you see, and then Ernest himself is saying, this is going to be the nastiest general election. So you're seeing the trend, the violent trend of the Labour Party, and it's all in an effort to scare people. But I'm telling the UWP supporters, do not be scared. It's your country. The last time we all remember, St. Lucia is a democratic country, and go out in your large numbers and vote the United Workers' Party. Do not be scared. Do not be timid. Champagne, I sent you a song.
Yes, I already played part of it.
Honorable Guy Joseph, you should play it on air.
I played part of
program finished.
I played part of it already. All right, my brother. Thanks a lot. Have a good evening. All right, beautiful. Special good evening to you. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hello.
I could hear you, sir. Go ahead. Good evening.
Hello.
We can hear you, sir. Don't listen to your device. Just talk to us. We could hear you.
Am I on the air?
You are on there. You are definitely on live at Sky FM.
Right.
Hello?
Hello?
Caller, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Right. Champagne.
Yes, sir.
I'm so happy that I was able to get the line.
Yes.
Mr. Minister,
Yeah.
I want you to know that we love you and we appreciate you. And I don't think that you have anything to worry about. I know that the SLP is listening tonight. And I would like to ask you something on air. And I want to
Can you speak just a little louder, please, caller? Thank you.
I would like to ask you, I would like to ask the minister something on air.
Yeah.
And I want the whole of St. Lucia to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think is the most popular candidate? Our Prime Minister or Philip J. Pierre?
Caller, that's not even a question.
Our Prime Minister.
Okay. Right. I have a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
The SLP has been harping on about how, I know that they are listening, and I want them to hear this, about how things are difficult, and I want St. Lucians to put their money where their mouth is. Okay? I want us to set up a raffle. Okay?
Mm.
The tickets are going to be $5. Okay? And the prizes are going to be dinner with the Prime Minister or dinner with Philip Pierre. Right?
Okay.
Let us see who is going to sell the most raffle tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That is a challenge to the SLP. Okay? Raffle, the prizes, dinner with the Prime Minister or dinner with the leader of the opposition, Philip J. Pierre. Money from the proceeds are going to be donated to charity. Let us see where the most raffle tickets are going to be sold.
Mm-hmm. I like it, caller. I like it. If you could put it together. All right, thanks a lot. Thanks for holding. Good evening. Hello? Good evening. Okay, so we lost this one. Hello? Okay, so we lost this one as well. Hello, good
So,
evening.
Champagne, just before we take this caller, I want...
Hold on a minute, caller.
Magilta Louis in Maryland, I know you are listening. Very special good night to you. Magilta Louis of Maryland, strong supporter.
Beautiful. Hello, thanks for holding. Go ahead, caller.
Champagne, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Minister.
Good evening.
Okay, Champagne.
Yes, sir.
I can tell you something.
Oh, yeah, sure, go ahead.
You know what the ex-police called and said,
Uh-huh.
on a legal point of view, that is illegal. And I'm talking with authority here, not from my own standpoint. On a legal point of view, nobody, whether the person is a licensed firearm holder
Oh, boy.
or not, that person cannot take another licensed firearm holder in their possession. It is illegal.
Okay,
It
so...
is illegal.
Well, I didn't... Well, we get into different statements regarding that. Now, I don't know which one to believe, so we'll have to investigate it.
I tell you, and tomorrow you can call any of the legal people on this island and ask them if what the ex-police say there is correct, and they will tell you it is incorrect. And I telling you, I get it from a legal point of view.
Okay. I had my doubts about his comments, but when I've always said, when I cannot substantiate something, I don't venture into it.
You do your research.
If he presents himself as a legal person or as somebody who is an authority on this, and he says that, for me, I don't debate or argue these things. I am more concerned about the events that led to that. I believe that Philip J. Pierre knows something that he has never, and I don't expect he would come and tell me, but that is where the police comes into play. Because there must be a reason. You cannot just, if it's just, so based on the report there, I just came to the church and I stood by the door and I asked to speak to Guy Joseph. For that you go into Guante. Because that is the statement, that is the premise. That is what the Labour Party has been advancing. And in the process, so somebody just does that and then you feel that you need to have the firearm in your possession. You cannot even trust a police or wait for a police to go and get the firearm. There is more to it than this. And like I said, I am not in a position to find out what happened, but the authorities, the investigators have to bring in the leader of the opposition to question him. He needs to be questioned about his involvement, what information was at his disposal that he felt that this is action that was necessary. Because people confront people all the time, people speak to people, and if the report that they have posted, because remember, this is on the record on St. Lucia Times. You can go and read it there. If that is what is related as the incident, and then the leader of the opposition felt it necessary, why? What is it that he knows? And I believe that in his capacity, he should be brought in to be questioned.
Yes, because the other thing I want to ask Mr. Minister and Champagne, at what time? Because all this happening and nobody has not asked the golden question. At what time did that firearm was transferred or handled to these other two individuals? Is it before the incident in the church or after the incident? That's the question.
Caller, not what was said. Claudius himself said in an interview that for how many meetings he don't see the individual with the firearm, for about how many months he has not been. So for how many months you don't have your firearm? How does Claudius know that? What is it? Because there's a lot of hidden things that are there. So if you don't have use for a firearm, you return it. If there, I am telling the people of St. Lucia, I believe there is something that we don't know, that the Labour Party knows. I am convinced that they know something. Now, I know certain things, but because I cannot substantiate it, because the people who gave me the information may not be willing to come forward and say, look here, because you have to protect people who trust you and give you information.
But Mr. Minister, you're so correct. Because remember when Mr. Pierre was interviewing with Andre Paul, he said he want to apologize for what we did. Okay? So therefore, you correct by saying that the Labour Party knew what was going on. It's not something that was separated. It is something that was planned. Because if it was not planned, Mr. Minister, that the leader could not have said on that show he want to apologize for what we did in the church. Anyway, thank you very much.
I'm going to inform on that bit of information you gave us regarding.
Something I can tell you, you can never get me wrong on that one.
Okay.
I did not just call and said it.
All right.
The police did that, said that.
Yeah.
I made a few calls from some of my friends that is in the legal system.
Yeah.
And the thing is, what all of them are saying is that it is illegal to handle a licensed firearm to another license holder because that person, the license that you have, Champagne,
yes,
it is not relevant to what Mr. Joseph has.
I understand. All right.
Two separate things.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. All right. I'm still going to inform on that too. Thanks for holding, caller. Good evening. Hello.
Good evening, Mr. Champagne. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Minister, good evening.
Good evening.
Let me just mention that the TV broadcast has frozen in my area.
Oh, well, our camera people are
but
listening.
Anyway, I want to make a few comments. Mr. Minister, a little earlier, Champagne asked, why are you the one being targeted? I believe one of the reasons is that the Labour Party has realized you are a man of peace. And so you will not fight their fire with fire. Now, I will not say that you should change your modus operandi, but one thing I am sure of is that bullies will only respect the person who will give them a good whipping. Okay? The Labour Party, as has been pointed out, is their violence. They're going out for violence. I mean, Champagne has mentioned that time after time.
100 million times.
Okay? Violence. Now, people like that, they want to know, they need to know that if they come at you, they're going to get more violence. I mentioned elsewhere that I could never have been a fireman because my response to fire would be water fire. I believe in throwing fire. You see, I want to live in peace. And so I will make sure that anybody who tries to come after me will find a response that will be so overwhelmingly be above and beyond whatever they will come at me with. So they will not try. And so I will live in peace. Okay. The other thing I want to mention, well, one, because there's so much. You are taking this thing lightly, Mr. Minister. I believe honestly that the plot was to kill you. Because you are the one who puts out all the facts. We in the United Workers' Party have traditionally been timid and we don't want to offend the Labour Party. However, you face them head on, you put on the fact, you put out the fact. I think that they decided within themselves that if they take you out, they would stand a better chance. Now, our own people do not want me to say that, do not want to hear me say that. But I think that's what happened there. And all that nonsense you see going on there, you know, that foolishness. I think that was actually to set up a scenario so the next time they come at you, you know, you will be blamed. because they're trying to paint you as being this despicable person and everything else. That's what has been happening.
Yeah.
They are trying to paint you.
They've tried that. They've tried from every angle to come after me. They've attacked my family. They've attacked me, my ethnicity. They've attacked my education. They've attacked my manner of speaking. I mean, when I heard the Labour Party, they call me bus driver. There's not one thing Emma said, "Plimwe predie by Tiboila, ipaka corrige." Can you tell me in the parliament upan sentiment? Every derogatory thing that can be said has been said. At the end of the day, I tell these fellas in the Labour Party, when it comes to me, these things don't faze me. I grew up tough. I had a tough life growing up, so I know what it is to have and I know what it is not to have. I know what it is to work hard. From 12 years, I've made every decision in my life until now. So at the end of the day, when the Labour Party thing, and I've worked hard for everything that I have, prior to coming into politics, nobody can point a finger at me in the community where I was raised that I ever stole anything belonging to anybody, that I was ever involved in trouble, or I grew up in a decent manner, never used drugs. My father was an alcoholic. I never used to drink. Up to now, I don't drink. I chose a different path in life. And everything that the Labour Party has done is to attack me. I have gone back to school. I've educated myself. I have done all the things that I needed to do to be successful. I have worked hard for all that I have. But the Labour Party feel if they accuse me, almost every business that starts in St. Lucia, you will hear his guy's own. You hear I was making ball with airport. I was doing this. Projects that never happened. They still tell you, I made ball with a project that never happened. So at the end of the day, caller, I understand that is how. I'm not a violent person, but I can stand for myself and I can defend myself. And there's nobody in that Labour Party that I cannot take on. There's none of them. But you know what? I know which fights that are mine, and I know which fights I let God fight for me.
Yeah.
And I will tell you something,
Yes,
Colin.
I agree with that.
That's why I tell people, I don't carry a firearm. I don't ever want to get to the point in my life where I stop depending on God and I depend on my own ability to defend myself and to do certain things. So I don't come on radio and TV and broadcast my Christianity. I don't tell people the times that I spend praying, and they can call me all names. They can tell me all the things. I do not go about telling lies about people. I do not make up stories about any of the Labour Party candidates. And I want them to go and look at all my record of 15 years, radio, television programs. I've been on this program. That's my 30th program that I am on. I can always back up what I say. I've said the day I have to start telling lies about people in politics, then that means it's time for me to make my exit.
Yes, sir. All right, Colin.
Mr. Minister, these are all the things which are eating them up. Because they're telling lies and they're not getting through. Yes,
All right.
thanks. Good night.
Thanks a lot, Colin. Good night. Mr. Minister, we have 11 o'clock. How many more calls? You going up to midnight? You know I could stay up to...
No, we're not going up to midnight.
Special good evening to you. Hello.
Yes, good evening. I finally got through.
Oh, you did, huh?
Good night, Mr. Minister.
Good night, sir.
Good night, Champagne.
Good night, sir.
Finally, I get a call from you. You always get it from me. I don't get it from you.
Right. You know, one of the things in all of this that has caught my attention, and I'm sure it has caught a lot of people's attention as well, is that recently we heard of a number of similar incidents occurring at other churches in St. Lucia.
Mm-hmm.
A week and a half ago, we heard about an incident in Saltibus.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, on the news, we heard that the individual was taken in for psychological assessment.
Mm-hmm.
We heard about the situation at the church in Forestia, that famous church invasion, just about a month ago. And the individual in question is your political rival. That's a fact. But yet still we have heard nothing about him being taken in for psychological assessment. In fact, what we do hear, which is even more concerning, is that a firearm, a licensed firearm which he has, was removed from his custody by two individuals in the process, the leader of the opposition and the former president of the Senate. The very important question to ask, and again, local media, where are they in asking the pertinent questions? What are those two, or were those two individuals aware of? The leader of the opposition, Philip J. Pierre, and former president of the Senate, Claudius Francis. What were they aware of which caused them to be alarmed and concerned enough to warrant them getting involved in getting that firearm away from the custody of Joachim Henry, your political opponent? We must also remember that Joachim Henry himself, on another talk show on radio and TV in St. Lucia, said that he has not, or he had not carried his firearm for at least 6 months, and that it was in a safe place or in safekeeping. You can surmise it was in a safe, it was under his bed, under his house, under a stone outside, wherever, but he said that he had not carried it for 6 months. If he felt it necessary to say so, it suggests that he believed that his firearm was indeed in safekeeping for 6 months. So why is it then that the leader of the opposition and the former president of the Senate felt that it was of paramount importance to secure that firearm? What did they know? What did they know? When did they know it? What did they hear? Who said what to them?
Caller, Norbert, here's the key. For me, the most telling part of this is that all of this appears to have been on a hearsay or a daisy, because up to now I am still trying to find out what did I say or what did I do that caused that particular incident to happen. I mean, Philip J. Pierre has not been able to release any information.
Well, he says he has it on his phone.
Well, another individual told my wife that he had it on his phone, and my wife said, show it to me. Let me see what guy did that triggered that. And up to now, so here's the most important thing. If all of that is a fabrication, if it's based on a lie, then what was the real cause? You see, that is where people are missing the point.
Yes.
Now, I know I didn't say anything. I know I didn't do anything. So I know that the cause or the reason for saying that this is why that happened is not the real reason. So the next question becomes, what is the real reason? What was the real reason? Because to say about, I said about the death, nobody There's nobody, and I'm not telling you there's a remote possibility. That is impossible for somebody to come up and say that Guy Joseph said one negative word about this situation. Nothing. That is, so I know that the premise, and if you listen to what was said in the church on the tape, had nothing to do with that. So the cause and the effect that they are talking about, these are two separate things. So that is why I said, Norbert, I am more concerned now as to what was it that triggered that incident. And is it something that's going to happen again? And when will it happen again? If it is said that that is not the only time I may be confronted in church.
But you see, there is more concern, and you brought it up earlier, when everyone saw on social media the immediate circling of the wagons by the SLP, and all of them coming out with their scripture quotes and everything else, and the foundation or the basis for all of this protection, and indirectly or directly an attack against you, there is no foundation in any evidence that has been presented. In fact, what so many people have seen is in that tape, in that videotape, and the statements that have been made, questioning a WhatsApp message that was sent, and what was heard on that video about you telling people that you're my friend and all of that, they do not amount to enough to substantiate or to warrant the type of action that was taken there in that church invasion. But what I want to say as well is that it is clear that by any standard, by looking at what has happened elsewhere, by looking at what happened on that day, that Philip J. Pierre, by any stretch of the imagination, or by no stretch of the imagination, is lacking in taking care of this situation, and it is a pattern of behavior because he has not dealt with it straight, or straight up, no pun intended. And when we see similar actions taken by other people known to be deep within his very own party, deeply associated with his party, in talking about throwing tear gas and grenades into the House of Parliament.
Yes, in fact,
and he has still remained silent. He has not condemned.
And who are the two persons they said? Who are the two persons they said that grenades should be set on their chairs?
Under yours and the Prime Minister.
Okay,
that's right.
Now, one final thing I want to say before I go. It is clear that based on the circumstances and the events leading up to, occurring on the day of the church invasion, and subsequently, that Joachim Henry is unfit to continue to run for political office.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's not going to be my caller, Norbert. I'm not going to make any comment about who is fit and who is not fit to run for office. That is for the Labour Party to decide who they want to run to represent the people of Castries Southeast. It doesn't matter who they send. It's neither here nor there for me. I think we have a bigger problem on our hands. The bigger problem is Philip J. Pierre and his party.
Yeah.
I think I don't narrow it down to an individual. I think it has more to do with what is passing for leadership in this country, that you going to come on the media, you coming on national radio, and you want to paint a picture of Guy Joseph, that what you have in your possession is so egregious that you cannot release it. If I have to take Philip J. Pierre to court to get him to release or to get him to say that he lied, then that is what I will have to do. But I'm telling them, I gave him a week and he failed. I intend to take the appropriate action. You cannot go out there and publicly state that an individual did something that is so egregious that caused the invasion of a church that put almost 40 people in harm's way, and then as a responsible leader you going to just duck under this and pretend that you never said that. If Philip J. Pierre thinks he gets away with that, he's in for a rude awakening on this, because I intend to take this to the full length. I'm not even concerned so much on the other side and what happened, because caller, no, but what I'm saying there is, this is, people are underestimating what has happened. For you to go out there and try to paint that picture of me, that I did something so insulting, so egregious, so bad. It is so bad that you cannot release it. And I'm supposed to sit there and accept that from Philip J. Pierre.
But Mr. Minister, that fits very well into the modus operandi of the SLP, and we've heard it, and usually this type of talk surfaces from them more often than not around elections time, where they say, we have the evidence, you have an opponent you want to get rid of, but we will release it at a later date. Release it now.
Yes, because they said 6 more months, another 3 months, and they would have dealt with me, and they would have, you call election 6 months before it was due.
All right.
But anyway,
thanks a lot, caller. Have a good evening. All right. So are we there, Mr. Minister?
Take one more call.
One more call. All right. It is 12 minutes after the hour of 11 o'clock, and we have gone way past the minister's time. So you will be our final caller for the evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello, Brother Champagne.
Brother Champagne, good evening. Brother Champagne is there.
Yeah, good night, Minister.
Good night.
Yeah, Champagne.
Yes, sir.
I'm buying just Castries. Ou pas Castries, si c'est mon appartement pour fusil en l'air, monsieur, j'ai l'empile mon mort à l'église là.
Ouais, moi pas ça si t'es ni en l'église là.
Non, ça m'a mis une goudou là. Si t'es ni en l'air, tu peux être c'était l'idée puis à l'église et puis gonna. Est-ce que vous parlez de si t'es gonna dans l'air, tu t'es fait l'idée. Est-ce que vous parlez de monde qui est mort dans cette là?
Well, police ni pour dire nous si t'es ni en l'église là. Nous ni pour savoir ça.
Ça m'a dit, si ça fait, moi je compte c'est mon point famille.
Oui, moi content tout. Oui.
Ça est moi.
Oui.
Because on a bien calculé, well, si on n'a pas parti autant âgé, autant on n'est pas parti, est-ce une officielle, ça fait anything?
Anything.
Yeah, so, si c'est mon point famille, et que vous sauvez encore me compagnie la vie, moi bien content ça.
Well, à de manière ça, mais est-ce que vous avez droit point, mais c'est ça nous voulons savoir aussi.
Yo pas ni droit, mais yo still try to sauver la vie because you pay ça qui ça dit fait.
Mais according to record là, yo dit c'est après bail là.
Oui.
Après ça.
Yeah, well.
So un pou ma dekor, est la ten plan pour vie là?
Oui.
Est la ten plan pour faire l'ordre? Because I want people to understand my point of view.
Ben c'est ça m'a calculé.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, merci Anshai partner. All right, beautiful.
I want people to understand my point of view on this thing. I am the target.
Yeah.
I am the one who was under attack. Up to now, nobody can show what I did or what I said. And the Labour Party wants to get away with that.
Yeah.
You just going to be out there and saying, guy said this and guy said that and guy.
Yeah.
So what is it that guy said?
We have a last call from Canada. Can we take this one? This is the final call. Hello, good evening. You are our final caller. Go ahead, caller. We can hear you.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening to you.
Good evening, Mr. Joseph.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Champagne.
Good evening. Thank you.
I just want to say, Mr. Joseph, I am very, very sorry about what happened to you and your congregation. This was very sad. when this happened, and I watched this video. I thought I was watching a movie.
Yeah.
But again, I want to say, Mr. Joachim said, I shouldn't even say Mr., I should say Joachim. Joachim said he did not see you. It's because he himself was in the wrong place. In the first place, he shouldn't be there. So what he was going to do was evil that was behind him. But when he got into the church, God just changed him and he could not see you. And you know why? Because, Mr. Joseph, you are covered under the blood of Jesus.
Amen. Amen.
And you are covered every four corners of the island, north, south, east, west. So this is why he could not see you in this church, because you are highly protected under the mighty God.
Amen.
Thank you.
But I want to say, Mr. Joachim, if he was grieving at the time and he was mourning, he should have been in his home mourning or grieving with his family or in his own congregation with his church people so they could help him out. I don't think this was the right place where he should have been going to create problem in a church when he is mourning. So that makes people speculate whether he was really mourning or not, or whether he was really grieving.
Good one, guys.
Because if somebody is grieving, this is not what you would be choosing. You would not be thinking of people say something about you or somebody said something. You would be concentrating on your grieving. And I'm saying right now what he has demonstrated there, this is just showing war in St. Lucia. This is just preaching and teaching people out there to go and do that same thing he did, because he think he could get away with it, and other people will believe that they will get away with it also if they try to do that. So I'm hoping there is a really thorough investigation in that situation, because what he has demonstrated there is very evil and it's very nasty. And I think a lot of us in the country, wherever we may be living in and outside St. Lucia, we would want to see this whole thing get investigated from everybody who got involved in this situation.
Yes, caller.
And with that again being said, Mr. Joseph, you're doing a great job. Continue your great work, and God will see you through. You are there for the people.
Thank you very much, caller.
All right. Thank you, caller. I think we lost you. All right. Thank you very much. You are our final caller.
Yes, Champagne. We've gone way past our time tonight.
It's 11:15. Lady's calling back, and let's see what she had to say in the end. We lost you for a minute. Thank you. Hello.
Yes, sorry, it's me again. I just want to say I believe that Philip J. should do a thorough investigation with his cabinet, because this man Joachim is not fit to represent people of the country.
Yeah.
And there should be some kind of investigation in this situation, because this have make people going mad, like the song say, they're going mad. We're going mad over this situation.
Yeah. All right,
all right. Thank you, and have a great night, and get home safe.
Thank you very much. All right, beautiful. Yeah.
Yes, Champagne. I was saying there's much more than meets the eye. And I am saying to the people of St. Lucia, the accusations about me in this incident are all lies. The premise on which the action that was taken is fabricated. So it's fake. So my question still remains unanswered. What was the real motive? What was the trigger that caused that incident? What is it that happened in the discussions leading up to that? There must be something there must have been a strategy by the Labour Party to deal with me. Because at the end of the day, think of it, Dr. Anthony said he would do whatever he could to get me out of the Parliament of St. Lucia. To the point where he put nomination on a Saturday. So, all of their attempts to do all the things they have tried have failed. Is that a last resort by the Labour Party? Is that where Philip J. Pierre is leading his party? And then is he part of the cover-up? Because I cannot understand. I have not come to understand what is it that transpired with that firearm. I have not understood what Philip J. Pierre said about what I said was so egregious and so maybe insulting or whatever, paraphrasing, that it cannot be released. If you are going to lie about something like that, it is because you know something that you don't want to come out. Or else, there was no need to tell a lie. It's when you're hiding information. Now, this is the Philip J. Pierre who promised that he as leader would stamp out corruption. He would stamp out all of these things. You're not even Prime Minister yet. You cannot deal with a simple matter. You have joined the bandwagon in now peddling the lies and the propaganda, and you want to be leader? So Philip J. Pierre, I am calling you out again tonight. I gave you a week and you failed. And I will take the appropriate steps to get you to come and release the information that you have. I know you as head of SLASPA. Okay? When the linguist report came out, y'all hide it. I kept on asking for it. Y'all refuse. But the operational part of SLASPA was under your watch as minister responsible for port. You pretended like you don't know about linguist report. I had to go and get who was present in the cabinet meeting when the decision was made and when it was ratified. And you were there. Today, you come on radio and you want to say Guy Joseph said things. It's so egregious. If I have to take you to court for you to release what you have, I will. And if you don't have it, then you will have to tell the court you don't have it, you made up a story. And if you made up a story, I want to know why you would make up a story like that. Why would you make up a story? To cover up what and for whom? That is where I leave it tonight. Castries Southeast, keep your eyes open. Keep your ears open. And pay attention to what the Labour Party is doing. And these fake people they have going around, pretending that they are my brothers, and being paid by the Labour Party to do so. They're not doing that for free, you know, Champagne. That is the level of the politics in Castries Southeast. And that is the highest level of disrespect to the people of Castries Southeast. And I believe if you are a Labour Party supporter and you don't want to vote for me, that's okay. But you should not vote for anybody from the Labour Party who is going to be peddling this kind of campaigning or politics in Castries Southeast. Send them a clear message. You don't vote, let them lose their deposit.
I agree.
And they will come to understand. Respect the people of Castries Southeast. And then they will find a candidate that is proper and that is fitting for the constituency. And note, I'm saying to you, Si parti ani malédiction, et qu'on meilleur un gouvernement, malédiction épidémie yo ni akay passant les nous toutes en cette liste. We cannot afford that under this present crop of fellas that the Labour Party has. Good night. Thank you, listeners. We know we stretch you. GVD crew, thank you for staying with us late tonight. Next week, Champagne, I will give you a little of my background and my history, my upbringing, who I am, what I stand for, and the Labour Party will better understand why I am the person that I am. Because at the end of the day, God prepares you in certain ways that sometimes you don't even understand. And at the end of the day, they can think what they want. I don't take credit for who I am and what I've been able to do. I know without the help of God and all the people of Castries Southeast and throughout St. Lucia who pray for me every day, that's the only reason why I'm still here. Left to the Labour Party, I would not be sitting here.
That is for sure.
But that's not in their hands. That's not within them. Only the power of God.
Power of the great God. That is right.
Thank you and good night.
Will we get a little nip of the report next week as well? Not yet?
Yes, I can bring sections of the report.
All right, beautiful. All right, Senator, there you have it. We want to say thank you very much once again for tuning in into Sky FM and into the program Inside Castries Southeast. And he had said that he was going to unleash the beast, and he did. And he's going to continue to unleash the beast. He told you what's going to happen next Monday. So you be prepared for that program next Monday. He's going to let you know who the true guy Joseph is, and a little bit of the linguist report, the one that has been hidden for all those years. You will hear about it next Monday, God's willing, with the Honorable Guy Joseph. And we want to say thank you very much once again for tuning in into Sky FM. Thank you, GBD TV, channel 115. Tomorrow morning, Brother Norbert Williams will start the opening here at Sky FM with the program Keeping It Real, morning edition, and then I come in at 9 o'clock, and then this is pretty much what is going to happen. This is the People's Radio, Sky FM 93.1. We are going right into the BBC. We want you to have a great night. Always say thank you to the great God above for bringing you through yet again another day and into tomorrow. Have a good evening, St. Lucia. We love you. Thank you very much.
Bye.